Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to That's Boxing on That's Football. It's Tyson Fury against Deontay Wilder, number 3, in what intends to be, in what will be an absolute epic fight. I don't know how long away we are from the ring walk. I'm sure we're not going to be particularly long, but we are ready to go, and that's the main thing. Tyson Fury was just up on my screen there, looks very relaxed as he waits for his fight. It's going to be very interesting, isn't it? It really is going to be very interesting. Fury Bridge, says Jack White. Who you going for, says Timothy. Well, first of all, I just want to say a big welcome to everybody who's tuning in. This is the first boxing watch-along I've ever done. It's not the first boxing fight I've ever watched. I've got quite a long history in boxing. A bit like Formula 1, I used to watch a lot of it at a younger age, but the big fights I keep an eye on. I watch them, and this tonight is just so intriguing. I think there'll be a lot of people watching this who, you know, maybe are a bit fair weather boxing. There might be people watching boxing for the first time. There might be hardcore boxing fans. But this is the sort of fight that I feel is generational. I don't think you get many fights like this. You're lucky if you get one of these once a year. I think it's massive. I thought AJ's fight a couple of weeks ago was really interesting. I think this is one that, if you like your boxing, you've got to watch it. Now, in relation to fighting at the moment, there is a fight on at the moment. They're in round 5 of 12. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's another fight after that, and then it would be the Wilder Fury fight. But what are we thinking about? What are we thinking about this fight, everybody? What are we thinking about this fight tonight? I'm not going to move away. I'm not going to drift away from believing that Tyson Fury will win this. Mark's tired. Mark was literally asleep 15 minutes ago. I've got to say, I don't know how. Let's address that tired elephant in the room. I probably should wear my glasses actually because I'm tired. I actually feel all right. I actually do feel quite good compared to the fact that I was asleep 10 minutes ago and literally just set my alarm, came downstairs and went live. So I actually feel okay. I don't know how many of hardcore. How many are hardcore? I did think about staying up playing FIFA and stuff like that, but I thought, you know what, I will have a bit of a fight. Not a fight, I'll have a bit of a sleep. A lot of people are talking about 4 a.m. in South Africa, and a lot of people talking about what time it's going to start. I've got no idea at the moment. Some people are saying 5 a.m., some are playing 4 a.m. Have you had your coffee, mate? No, I've got one of these, though. I've got a can of Sneak, which is a bit disappearing at the bottom, but we'll be on that for the next half an hour. That'll give me a bit of a wake-up call. Oz says, have you had your coffee yet? No, I haven't, Oz. I'm not really going to be drinking. I've got a nice glass of I've got a nice cup of hot water, a normal glass of water, and I've got my Sneak energy drink to, just give me a bit of a boost over the next few hours. But look, how are we all feeling now? The thing I love about boxing is that I remember James Buster Douglas against Mike Tyson. Was it 90 or 91 or something like that? Nobody gave him a shout, and he knocked him out and beat him, and that was his only real win of his career. I think he got a Mega Drive game out of it, and that was about it. So these things can happen. I think that I was thinking about this before I went to sleep last night. The thing about Fury is that the confidence I get from Fury, and I think the confidence a lot of people get from Fury, is that he provides you with that invincibility. He provides you with that belief that he cannot be knocked down. And even if he does get knocked down, he will get up. He's like that Chumbawamba song. I get knocked down, but I get up again. And I think that is the belief with somebody like Tyson Fury. But of course, the reality isn't always there to match up. And I think at some point, maybe not, but at some point, I think with a Tyson Fury, at some point, somebody's going to knock him down and he won't get up. And that to me is the concern. But I do get the confidence that's around Fury, and obviously I'm going with Fury. Hi Mark, been awake since 9 a.m, not had a single sleep nap on. I've got work at 1 a.m. How you taking phone calls for the Village Hotels? Oops, says Thomas Bennett. It'll be alright, mate. Just got back from a night out, Mark. Unlikely to make it till the fight, but enjoy the fight. Got a bet on Fury to win, but predicting a Wilder KO, says Joshua Bowwater. A lot of people saying don't sleep on Wilder. Look, let's just address the elephant in the room here. I've mentioned elephant in the room twice already, and we've not even been live 5 minutes. Love your content, says and I don't know. Thanks for all the super chats that are coming in. Thanks for everybody who's watching. This is really exciting for me personally. I'm sort of getting Super Bowl vibes. If anyone was on the Super Bowl watch along back in February, I'm sort of getting those vibes. It feels like something a bit special, something a little bit different. And there is a fight on screen at the moment. I might be wrong on this, but I think that we've got another fight after this one, and then it'll be Fury Wilder. I think there might be two. I'm not sure, but let me know where we are with that. But look, in relation to the actual boxing records of these two people, I believe that Wilder had won 40 straight fights, something like that. Then he fought Fury. They had that draw, which was not a draw. That was a win for Fury. That was a joke. It was never a draw. And then we had the second fight, Wilder Fury 2, where Fury did beat him. Fury's record, I forget it. I think he's lost one fight in about 30-something fights. So, you know, it's an interesting one because I think that you know, Wilder's got that power and he's got that winning record, but he can't beat Fury over 2 fights. So that gets into somebody's head without a shadow of a doubt. And Fury's undefeated. There you go. So Fury's never lost. Now, for some reason, I always thought Fury lost the fight. He hasn't. He's unbeaten. So basically, you're putting together 2 fantastic records, but the only one who's been beaten is Wilder, and that's by Fury. So that makes Wilder dangerous, but it also means that it's difficult. He's got a draw. That's what he's got. Of course, that's the one thing. And Wilder's lost 1. So 30 wins, 1 draw for Fury, and I think it's 42 fights for Wilder, a 1 draw and a loss, both against Fury. So this can go one of 2 ways. Well, it can go 3 ways because it could be a draw. I think I wouldn't be betting on a draw tonight. I think the draw is something like 25 to 1. Fury is the favourite, but you know it's not like Wilder's a wild outside bet. I think this fight's over on screen. I think this fight is over. Yes, it is over because they're hugging. You wouldn't do that on an interim round. So we've just had the end to a fight here in round 6. That's probably quite a good thing because I think that gets us closer to the Fury fight. I don't know what everybody's prediction is on the ring walk at the moment, but I'm thinking about 4 a.m. Because I think there's only one more fight to go, and this one has just ended with a disqualification punch to the nuts. I hope Fury does it. Also, super work on Driving with Goldbridge. Outstanding last episode, says Phil. Thank you very much, Phil. Make sure you subscribe if you're watching, by the way, and do share the video. Wilder is a wild outside bet, says Tom Thanos. A lot of people saying sort of 4:30 in the morning. Ozza says he's tired. Well, this is what this watch along's for. It's here for everybody. It's here for everybody to, you know, stay awake and keep the conversation going through until the fight, and then it's going to be brilliant. So, you know, if we can help you keep away, that's great. But let's just talk about this fight for a moment or two. We'll figure out what time it's going to start. Rossi thinks it'll be about 4:30. Kian says don't think Wilder stands a chance. So let's get into that conversation for a few minutes then. So as I was saying, this fight for me goes one of 2 ways. Wilder wins, Wilder lose. No draw. Can't see a draw. Cannot see a draw in a million years. But I think that thanks for the super chat there, Nathan Whalen. The reason I think it can go 2 ways is that Wilder's either been coached really well and, you know, is focused and pulls it off, or, and I think this is more likely, when you walk into that ring and the bell goes ding, it's Fury against Wilder, and Wilder won't know a thing. And that's a poet, and I didn't know it, but I do think that is going to be the problem, is that boxing is such I think sport, I've always said this, boxing for me, I don't like YouTube boxing. I think it disrespects the work a real boxer puts in. A real boxer will be training for, months before the fight, months and months and years. And the hardest coaching I've ever done is boxing. When I used to play football at a decent level, pre-season we would go once a week and be trained in a boxing gym. There'd be no football. The only ball there was a medicine ball. And oh God, we'd all be thrown up afterwards. The intensity is just ridiculous of the stuff they'll get you to do. It's just a killer. And so I've got a lot of respect for boxing. Even one round, trying to knock somebody out for one round and defending yourself and the hits you take and the power you're throwing and the misses that you hit and, the jabs. Very, very hard work. And I've got a lot of respect for it. But ultimately, no matter how hard you work, in that ring, with however many thousands and millions of people watching, it's man against man, unless it's women's boxing. And in that situation, you've got to be mentally and physically absolutely nailed on. And I think Fury just has that thing. It's all about boxing's such a funny sport because Fury's just got that mentality. He's got that winning mentality. A guy that suffers with mental health and everything like that, but when it comes to a boxing ring and he gets in that zone, he's the man. Now, Wilder's going to have to come off the back of 2 fights where Fury beat him. Fury beat him in the draw, Fury beat him in the second fight, and he's going to have to go against that man for a third time. Not only beat him in a boxing ring, not only beat him with his fists, but also beat him mentally. And I don't think he can do that. And if he does do that, he deserves an enormous amount of credit. He can do it. Wilder can do it. But I think to do it, there's a few things that have got to go wrong. Fury's got to make a mistake. Wilder's got to outbox him. And he's got to be mentally stronger than him. And I think that's 3 things that are going to be very, very difficult. So I think that Fury wins. And what did I say earlier? I think Fury in round 6 for me. Mark, who do you think is going to win? Says Alex. So there you go. But look, I want to know what everyone else thinks. This is an opportunity at 10 past 3 in the morning for you to get some comments out that we can read. Deitch versus Goldbridge. They wanted us on the undercard, but it couldn't happen. Eric Leonard says Fury by technical KO. Donny to stay. Huge fan, says Eric. Thank you for the super chats that are coming in. It's one fight until the main. Thank you very much, Master Yoda. So yeah, I think we could be looking at a 4 a.m. start here. Certainly could be. The next fight, if it doesn't go the distance, we'll go in straight into Fury. So good. That last fight ended a little bit early. That was that round 6, the last fight? Technically, not a disqualification. So yeah, it could happen. But the thing I love about boxing as well is that you listen to Fury, and look, he basically said things like he was asked the question, what does he think about Wilder's new coach? And he said, what do you mean, what do I think? It's a shithouse. He's a shithouse. And it's a shithouse training a shithouse. And what do you get then? A shithouse. And then he mentioned Wilder's mum's Fanny and all sorts of stuff. So, it's harsh. But it's meant to be. And I think Fury gets that. It's harsh because it's meant to be. And I think at the end of the fight, whether Wilder wins or Fury wins, he'll go over to Wilder and they'll embrace and there'll be that respect there. But the mental edge in boxing is he will want... Fury will say those things because he wants to get in his head. That's what it's all about. I told you this story before. When I used to play football, I remember playing in a cup semi-final at 16, they had this brilliant striker, and me and the centre back, we were unorthodox. We were both like the similar sort of centre backs. We both read the game very well, weren't particularly physical, weren't super fast, both good on the ball, both quite intelligent players. And we just hatched this plan against this striker. He was very physical, very quick, that we were just going to try and get in his head. And basically, it was comments about your mum. There's a lot of people watching us in the semi-final. We saw before the game that he was talking to this woman. We assumed it was his mum, and we said things in the first half about what his mum must be like. and he didn't like it. And you know, a lot of people will be offended by that, but he had a terrible game. And yeah, he wanted to chin us, and yeah, there was no handshake of respect at the end, but we were in the final and he wasn't, and that's how, you know, that's the way it was. You've got in the head of somebody that could beat you. He was better than us. He was one of the best strikers in the county, but not that day because his head had gone, and he very nearly got sent off. I think they ended up putting him on the wing in the second half because he just couldn't get anything out of us. Smart money's on Wilder, says JNA2. Well, I think what that means is, and look, smart money, you've just donated 20 quid, so thank you to that. What I think you mean there is that the value is in Wilder, because the reality is you get more value for money out of Wilder. I think Wilder's odds are bigger, well, they are bigger than Fury, and therefore the value is in that. But I'm looking forward to this. Spain versus France watching later. Haven't decided yet, mate. We're going to do United stand at 7 o'clock, and then the opportunity is there to drop on the watch along afterwards. But we'll see. But Mitchell Simmons says it's all fair in love and war. It's about what you want to do to win. I mean, it's about what you want to do to win. You know, crossing that line, definitely. Legally, but definitely. I am, and I would get into the head of people to try and win. Boxing's about that. You know, I was talking to Paul Ince the other day on the United stand about David Beckham's kick in the '98 World Cup. I've always related to it because it's petulance, and I was a bit petulant on a football pitch. But in a boxing ring, you can't just be the guy who, well, you can if you want to, you know, who just trains really hard, mentally strong, doesn't need to say anything to anyone, just goes and does your business. I'll let my fist do the talking. A lot of boxers, they'll do the work, they'll believe in themselves, but they'll also push it. They'll also push it in the press conference, they'll push it and everything. And of course, let's not forget as well that these promoters, they want that. They want it. And some people say it's pantomime. You know, it's not wrestling. I don't think it is pantomime. I think when you look through history in these boxing fights, all the way back to Ali and before that, the reality is these boxers they're trying to get a mental edge. They're trying to get into the head of their opponents, because all the training, all the promoters, you know, it's not Eddie Hearn who stood in the boxing ring with AJ, is it? It's AJ against whoever. It's Fury against whoever. It's man against man. And if you can just get in their head in one way or the other, and look, getting in their head can be making them angry. You know, as I said, many a time I've been sort of approached to do charity boxing, and it's always have a fight with this person, have a fight with that one. And I always say this, look, at the end of the day, one, I respect the sport, and two, you're putting me in the ring against somebody that doesn't like me or I don't like them. That's not boxing for me. That could, you know, that could be. And I would, you know, I did driving with Thogdad, didn't I? And I said I'd rather be in a ring fighting Thogdad than fighting one of my so-called enemies, because there is respect with Thogdad that we would actually go and box. I don't want to box Thogdad, he's older than me, but the reality is, what I'm saying is, I'd rather fight somebody that I respect, and then if we're falling out along the way to get into each other's head, that's fine. But when you have a boxing match against somebody that you dislike, that's a dangerous thing, because you're already putting yourself into a mental state where it's emotional, and anger can make you do things, hate can make you do things, frustration can make you do things. And the one thing you want to be on a football pitch, in a boxing ring, behind a racing car, is focused. You want to be focused on being the best you are. Are you going to be focused on being the best you are if you're getting into a ring with somebody you can't stand? You know, instead of, you know, biding your time, waiting for your opportunity, are you actually going to go and throw punches to try and knock somebody out you don't like? And that can leave you exposed as well. And that's why people in boxing try and intimidate or get into people's heads, because they want the emotion. They want the opposition to do things that they wouldn't normally do. The value in Fury, seen as he's going to absolutely smoke him. Sheesh, says GE. Well, look, I'm getting more and more excited the closer we get to this. How long till it starts, says Explosive. We've got one more fight, and then we've got this one. I'm just going to put my headphones on because there's some interesting chat Frank Warren's on at the moment. I just want to see what he's saying. He's just saying 2 different fights. Fury the better boxer. Yeah, I agree. So Frank Warren there, respected boxing promoter. He's basically saying that, look, over the 2 fights, Fury's been the better boxer. He's proven he's the better boxer. The only way this could go wrong is if he does something careless. And we were talking about that a few minutes ago. Look at Vegas. I'd love to be at this fight. Yeah, we spoke about that a few minutes ago. The reality is Fury's got the beating of Wilder. I think he's in the head of Wilder. The only way Wilder can win this is if he comes back for this 3rd fight completely transformed, completely focused mentally, and Fury's careless. Those 3 things could make the difference. But I don't see it. I don't see it. There's Tommy Fury, his brother, half-brother, from Love Island. Love Island, tonight! Go on, imagine if he did that. Well, tonight! Or Fury gets injured. I mean, that's a great point by Jordan. Really interesting subplot there. Things that can go wrong in a boxing ring that don't mean you get knocked out or lose it on points. Injury. You know, I think Fury in the past has cut, and that can be an issue. If you get an early cut, you start bleeding. It has happened in the past where a fight can be stopped for that sort of a reason. Injury, we've saw David Hay in the past. He's gone over on his ankle. Those sort of things we don't want to see from either boxer. I don't want to see Wilder or Fury having to retire through injury, because that's probably the most frustrating way for a fight to go. Ultimately, if Wilder wins this, there'll be a number 4. If Fury wins this, it's over and he's free to go and do whatever. Now, look, do you think the AJ fight should happen? That will be a subplot if he wins. But ultimately, I don't think AJ should be next in line for Fury. But the reality is, in boxing, it's a little bit like... It's about football, isn't it? It's why Man United-Liverpool is still a massive game, and it's probably a bigger game than... Well, it is a bigger game than Man City-Liverpool. Man City-Liverpool is probably more indicative of who the best team in England is. Liverpool-Man United is a bigger fight, is a bigger game. And I think that is why everyone wants to see AJ against Fury. David Johnson, welcome to the members club. AJ has activated his rematch clause with Usyk, who I can never pronounce his name. How come you stay up for Fury but not Conor, says Kieran M. You know what? I've always preferred boxing. I'm a big fan of boxing, and I really wish I'd done the AJ fight a couple of weeks ago, because I watched it, and I really wish I'd watched it. I really wish I'd done a watch along for it. But this one, to me, is the fight of the year. It might not be the technical fight of the year, but for me, this was the one I was like, I can't wait for this. I'm just excited for this. And I don't actually feel tired. I'm quite surprised. I mean, I've got up early in the morning. I actually feel I'm very, very happy with my preparation, and I hope Fury's preparation is like mine. Granted, my preparation is about having 3 hours sleep, a can of Sneak Energy, and chatting to you lot. But his is intense training for months. But I think that I'm feeling good and excited about this. And look, this, you know what, as well, this is my first ever boxing watch along, so I'm very excited about it. But it might be the first of many. Hopefully, I think there's some great fights to have. Nothing like being up at 3 a.m. on a Saturday. I tell you what I like about 3 a.m. on a Saturday in October as well, is that it's still dark. And it will still be dark at the end of the fight, so I'll still be able to get back in the sack. I will go back to bed after this, yes. Probably do the morning show on the United Stand a little bit later, maybe 11 o'clock, something like that. We've got a fight going on at the moment, and then we'll be ready for Fury. So there's a fight now, and this is the last one before Fury fights. So... hopefully one of these will knock each other out in round 1, and then we'll be straight into that. Which is what Dim just said. When does the match actually start? So the fight, will start after this one. Who was here for the Super Bowl, says Elliot Baker. That was a fantastic evening. There will be people out there that want Tyson to lose. Look, that's the whole point of any one against one or team against team sport. That there are going to be people that don't want that sort of thing to happen. So, you know, there will be people who don't want Fury to win. I get that. I understand that, and that's absolutely fine. But for me, ultimately, I want Fury to go to win. Troy said, do you think it could go to points? Both fantastic fighters. Of course it can go to points. For what do I want? As long as Fury wins, I don't really care. I mean, to be honest with you, my ideal fight would be Fury round 9, something like that. You know, the longer it goes, and then a knockout would be you know, my preference. But having said that, you know, I think that any win's a good win for Fury. And I do hope that it goes the distance. No, I don't want it to go to the distance, so I'm going to go round 6. Wilder will knacker himself out, says Master Yoda. I think you're right. I think Fury will have too much for him in that sense. But I think if Wilder's going to win it, I think it's got to be in the first 6. I think the longer it goes, the more it comes into the hands of Fury. He's the better boxer, and the longer a fight goes, it tends to go to the better boxer. And look, I'm never going to sit here and pretend that I know boxing in and out. I love sport. I love boxing. I love Formula 1. I like rugby union when it's the World Cup. I like watching the Ashes. I know football like the back of my hand. I know other sports in a different way, but you know, I do appreciate it. But to me, Fury is a hard boxer to fight against because he defies what he is. I think Wilder, somebody was saying before, you know, Wilder's a bit like if you've ever played pro clubs on FIFA and you're creating your player and you've got these points to allocate. Some people will try and get an all-rounder, somebody who's got agility, passing, finishing, skills, speed, stamina. Wilder's used all his points on power, and that's why he's knocked so many people out. Fury's the better all-round boxer. Fury defies what he is. He's a very big man, but he's very agile for that. And he's got a great jab. And he basically, I wouldn't say Fury's particularly, well, of course, you know, he'd knock us all out. But, you know, AJ and Wilder are very powerful punchers. I wouldn't say Fury's as powerful as them. But where he's better is he's a better boxer. You know, he can frustrate, he can tactically, he knows the ring very, very well. He's a very good all-round boxer, and he frustrates. And, you know, people will walk into his jab and he'll pick them off and he'll outbox them. And I think this is power against ability for me. Wilder, that's why I think if Wilder's going to win this, he's going to have to throw a powerful punch. And obviously, you've got more power in the first 5 rounds than you have in the last 5 rounds. Hi Mark, I really enjoyed the new Driving with Goldbridge episode with Incy, says Hanakish. Thank you very much. Mark, where did you get your hair transplant, mate? Says Keith. Well, I haven't had a hair transplant, but you know, whatever makes you happy, mate. You bitter twat. And Mark, who do you think who's going to win the F1 Championship this year? Says Joel. I don't know, but it's been one of the best F1s in a while. He's a very smart boxer, says Wee Neon. He is a very smart boxer. It's a very exciting Formula 1 this year, and you know, I've always said I'd love to do watch-alongs for Formula 1 because Formula 1, like boxing, is something that I grew up watching and sort of left it for about 15 years. But you know, I'm a massive fan of Hamilton. I really am a massive fan of Hamilton, but I don't necessarily think he's gonna get the win. It might be Verstappen this year. How do you like your steak cooked? Says Jack Wiggins. I like it medium. How do you like your steak cooked? I like mine medium. I would do UFC. I mean, I must admit, I know more about boxing than I know about UFC. I'm a very fair weather UFC fan because it's a newer sport. But I do like, again, I like McGregor. I do like Conor McGregor. So, thoughts on Jake Paul as a boxer? Says Ethan. Look, I respect the fact that he's trying to make it, you know, a career and everything like that. I just think that's the most important thing for me. It's about that level of work, really. It's about that level of it's a very, very hard sport. A very, very hard sport. I'm so tired, couldn't miss this though, says Kyle. Well, hopefully we'll keep you awake, Kyle. There's a boxing fight going on at the moment. They're in round 1 of 10. After this, we will get the ring walks, and after that, we'll get the fight. So I think we're looking at the moment at a start of around 4:30. If you want to, let's have a little bit of a game actually. Who do you think? When do you think this will start? I think we should be fight start by about 4:30. But yeah, it's such an intriguing one. It's such an intriguing fight. I'm really looking forward to it. Some people are saying 5 a.m. I think you're pushing 5 a.m. because we've only got one fight until they can start the Fury build up. So I think it'll be before 4 or 5 a.m. I think we're talking at about 4:30. Ring walks can take half an hour. Nidwin says, with the Newcastle takeover, will there be a big 7 at the Premier League now? Thoughts? We're not going to talk about football too much, Nidwin. This is That's Football. Make sure you subscribe. But for tonight, it's That's Boxing. Hey Mark, much love, but how would you feel if one of your children became an Arsenal fan, says Akil? It just won't happen. It's an impossibility, so we don't need to worry about that. And Jedi says, I'm loving the Man United career, Mark. Yeah, might get another episode out tomorrow. Start of season 2 on my Twitch channel, Goldbridge TV. But 4 to 5, I think they'll drag it out as long as possible, says Aaron Cooper. Yeah, I'd love this fight to be over quick. They're in round 2 already. 3-minute rounds, of course. So if this went the distance, there's probably still another half an hour. So it depends how quick this fight's going to go. But I think at the moment we're talking at around 4 a.m. Went the distance, now I'm not going to stop. Just a man and his thrill to survive. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rivals. I love Rocky, me. That's what got me into boxing. But yeah, if your boxing heritage is watching Rocky films, it's completely unrealistic. You can't take that many punches to the face like Rocky does against Dolph Lundgren in Rocky 4, who is twice his side and has got a powerful punch. You can't just go, hit me harder, hit me harder. Yeah, you'd be on the floor, dead. You can't do that. Get your comments in though. Look, there's going to be a lot of people with a lot of different thoughts. Get your comments in on this fight. Lionheart Fury versus Dangerous Wilder. Fury for the win, says Stanford Rich. And look, this is what I'm saying, right? These two fighters, whoever you're going for, the reality here is that the reason these sort of fights grab the imagination so much is because there's so much at stake. There's so much work. There's so much personality. There's so much talent. This is the biggest fight of the year. It's probably not the best fight of the year. You know, the great thing about boxing is that you have your divisional weights, and look, the best 2 boxers could be lightweights. They could be super middleweights. They could be heavyweights. But the heavyweight division is the division. You know, the biggest and strongest boxers in the world. And when you get a fight like this where it's, you know, because the heavyweight division isn't always the best. It's not. You know, as I said, I grew up loving watching people like Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank and Michael Watson and, you know, some of the fights they all had in the super middleweight division. But this is arguably the 2 best boxers in the world. Some people would argue that that's not quite the case, but it's certainly the biggest fight. And the great thing is we've not heard it's America against the UK or anything like that, because I don't think it comes down to that really. That might be a reason why you like one boxer over the other, but I don't think it does come down to that. I think it comes down to 2 very intriguing boxing styles, 2 very powerful men, and as I said, I think it's going to be I'm tempted to say it's going to be a classic. I think a classic's a very difficult thing to call. Thank you, Nathan Whelan, for the super chat. Thanks for all your hard work across all the channels to entertain us, as YK. Thanks for the super chats that are coming in. You can do that through the $sign if you wish. And please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Share the video as well. We've already got 5,000 watching, and we're not quite at the start of the fight yet. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of people joining us with their alarms as to when the ring walk happens. But, yeah, look, I think one way or another, there's Tyson in his locker room. This to me is the bit for me. This is the bit that must be so difficult. All the work all the preparation, and you're just waiting for that time to do the ring walk and get going, and it can all be over very, very quickly. But yeah, I do think it's got the eyes of the world, and I do think it's got the potential to be an absolutely amazing fight, because it could go the distance. It could be over in round one. It could be an annihilation from one of the fighters. It could be a great fight. And I think I've watched loads of fights over the years, and you know the ones where you know they're going to win, or even the one where you don't know whether they're going to win, and they knock them out in the first round, and it's a boring fight. But I think even if that happened, imagine if Wilder walked in the first round and chinned Fury and knocked him out. That would be disappointing because it'd be over in round one, but it would also create a massive story in itself. So I think that the outcome in this fight, I don't think there is an outcome that's not going to generate a big story. And obviously I think for boxing, what's the best result? Look, for boxing, I don't know what the best result is. What do you think is the best result? Because the outcomes are always, 2 weeks ago, the best outcome was AJ wins and waits for the winner of this, which is hopefully Fury. Obviously that's not happened, and what if Fury loses? He's not going to retire, is he? You never know with Fury, but I don't think he is. So he'd want another fight with Wilder. He'd say, look, we've had 3 fights, you've won 1, I've won 1, we've had a draw, even though I won it, I want another fight, the decider. So the outcome is going to be very interesting. But personally, obviously, I want Fury to win. And also, I think for boxing, the best outcome is that this is the end of the chapter after 3 fights. Diggy Ski Scooby-Doo's goal for Scotland, Mark. I think that Fury is going to KO in the 4th or go the distance again, says David Johnson. Thanks for the super chat. Current 5, both fighters unbeaten in combined 33 heavyweight matchups, says JNA. Well, the only loss out of these 2 people in well over... It must be over 70 fights between them. The only loss is Wilder. 1 loss in over 70 fights, and it's Wilder, isn't it, against Fury? Interesting from Turton. He says, "I want Fury to win, but I think Wilder will knock him out in the 8th round." No. I don't think. Well, I'm not. I can't say no, but I don't think that's going to happen. Really, I think it's going to be. I think round 8 would be a bit late for Wilder. But look, we're all talking about Wilder, the guy who is the heavy hitter. But if I was coaching Wilder, he'd be in big trouble. But what I would expect to see from Wilder is that to beat Fury, he can't walk into the ring and try and do the same thing again. He can't walk in the ring and just rely on the power and hope that he's going to knock him out. He's been the distance with him before. I think he needs to, if his coaching over the last period of time, in his camp for this fight, needs to be about boxing. Almost needs to reinvent himself, which is what a lot of boxers do when they've lost a fight. All boxers lose a fight. I was reading an interview. I don't think it was an interview with Wilder. It was an article, might have been Sports Illustrated or something like that, and they were basically saying that somebody who knew a lot about Wilder, and they were saying that there's no doubt he's a really good boxer, but all boxers tend to lose a fight, no matter how great they are. You go through history, all great boxers will lose a fight. All Hall of Famers probably have lost a fight. There's hardly any that have got this complete record. So, and it's how you come back from that fight. And now you might lose because you disrespect or you take your eye off the ball. I don't think anybody disrespects anybody in boxing, really, because I think, especially in heavyweight division is probably the most dangerous, because I could be the best heavyweight fighter in the world. Look, I'm only pretending. Obviously, look at me physically. That's never going to happen. But I could be the best heavyweight fighter in the world. I could have a fight against, it's not a champion. It's not one against a decent boxer. It's against a journeyman boxer I'm expected to win. And I could be in the training camp, and I could be like, it's a bit like when Man City are playing Liverpool or Chelsea. They know they've got to be focused. When they're playing Southampton at home, they're expected to win, and they end up drawing because they've took their eye off the ball. In heavyweight boxing, you've got to be really careful, because, because heavyweight boxers are so big, they're more powerful. And if you catch, you could catch a punch from somebody who's not a great boxer and knock you out, and that's it. It's a defeat. And if you have that sort of defeat, it's easier to come back from, because it can make you feel, you got complacent, you were stupid, you won't do that again. The worst type of defeat is the one that Wilder's had against Fury, where he's been outboxed twice. Now, to come back against that, you're basically trying to come back against somebody who's better than you. And they've been better than you twice. So the only way back is to try something different, is to reinvent yourself. And that's what we're expecting from Wilder. Will Wilder have a defence as good as McFred, says Elliot Rigby. Well, look, this is what we're talking about with Wilder. You talk about his boxing style. Everyone knows what his boxing style has been. He's built a very successful record from knocking people out. Very powerful. But when he's been tested, and it took a long time for him to be tested, holes were found in his defence. But what's his face is saying that Wilder's looking a different animal. He's looking heavier. He is looking heavier. But is that because he's going for the knockout again? Is he heavier because he's gone for more power? Does he feel he's got to punch harder? He's got a very hard punch anyway. Can Fury be knocked down and stay down? Look, the more I talk about it, the more excited I get. I really do. Jim White, Sky Sports News. I bet on Fury to win, says Desice Gaming. What is happening now, says Enjoy Life. At the moment, there is a fight going on. They're in round 4. It's looking like it could be a distance fight, this. So this fight's probably going to go until sort of 10 past 4. And then we'll have Fury versus Wilder. I mean, ideally, one of these boxers will just knock each other down and it'll be over very, very quickly. But they're in round 4 of 10. Doesn't look like it's a fight that's going to be over very quickly. But the next fight is Wilder versus Fury. And look, I've only watched this fight and the last fight. The last fight was over in round 6, so that could have gone a bit longer anyway. So we're already slightly ahead of where we would have thought we would be. Tatal says, have you had any sleep? I'm hyped, says Enjoy Life. I'm really hyped about this. Really hyped about it. Really looking forward to it. I did the England Andorra watch along, which was boring, and then went up, watched a bit of comedy on the telly, watched a bit of Schitt's Creek, and then I probably had a couple of hours sleep. But to be honest with you, I could have had 4. But when you know you've got to get up early. It's like when you go on holiday and you've got to be up at 3 o'clock to get to the airport for 4:30. Didn't really sleep as well, but I'm over the moon about how I've got up. That's what worries me the most, is that I thought I'd wake up and be groggy, and I actually feel quite good. But it's easy to get up when you've got something to excite you, as I've always said, and I'm excited. I'm excited about this one. Rise and shine, baby, says Dilly Dally. What's your prediction on the fight, says HK47? Well, let's do that, because we've got nearly 6,000 watching. More and more people are tuning in as we get closer to the start of this fight. Excitement. These are the moments. I feel I'm getting Super Bowl vibes. If anyone watched my Super Bowl watch along, I'm getting Super Bowl vibes. I'm getting excited. I'm really excited about this one. I feel like we are witnessing moments here. Moments FC, but big moments. Who do you think wins, Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury, says Joel Morris? You see, if that was done as a proper fight, I would want Tommy Fury to win. But I don't know. The problem with this YouTube boxing is, when Mayweather's had those fights, they're scripted. Like, I don't watch boxing religiously, but I know enough about boxing to know when it's a scripted fight. And this is what I don't trust about the whole Jake Paul thing. Is it real? Because if it's real, I think Tommy Fury will absolutely batter him. But we've already seen, Mayweather have a couple of fights, and Mayweather would walk up to 4 bouncers outside a club and knock them all out. That's how good these boxers are when they are the best. So I just don't know whether I trust that. If it's rigged, it's WWE, isn't it? And they'll go, well, we're bringing a lot of eyes onto boxing. Are you? Are you bringing a lot of eyes onto boxing? I've had, I remember I had that drive along with Thogden and Thogdad, and Thogden was saying, look, you can't argue the fact that boxing was dying, and the YouTuber world has brought boxing back to to the mainstream. Is boxing dying? I think the problem with boxing is that, you know, they need to do. I don't think boxing's dying at all. Fury against Wilder is a massive fight. We don't need YouTube. I don't think YouTubers has made Fury against Wilder a better fight. I don't think Fury against AJ will be a better fight because of YouTube boxing. That's boxing's problem to make it more mainstream and more appealing. It's always going to have it there if you've got the quality and the personalities in your sport. So MMA is taken over to a certain extent, but that's because they've got so many events. You know, I would liken, you know, MMA is like the Premier League, isn't it? There's a lot more going on, and you know, boxing's probably a little bit more like La Liga. You know, it's just not got as much, not got as many good teams, not got as much competition. But I don't believe boxing was dying. I just think it probably didn't have enough main events. But when it has a main event like this, God, it's just so exciting. It really is. But you get your predictions in the chat. What are you going for? I'm going for Fury round 6. One of the most interesting questions I had, if Wilder's going to win, when's he going to win? And I think that's the interesting thing about boxing. So don't just go, put your prediction in first, but then, so if you think Wilder's going to win in round 2, say what round do you think Fury would win if he wins. So basically, prediction for me is Fury wins round 6, but if Wilder's going to win, I'm going to say round 3. So I've got round 3 for Wilder, round 6 for Fury, but I think Fury will win. How many times will you be asked about Fred during this? Great stream, Scooby-Doo, Jim White, Island, Leeds fan, great content, go Fury, says Colin Kerwin. The thing I love about this channel, Colin, and the thing I've really enjoyed about, you know, my career in this world is that I've been able to do lots of things I enjoy, but I'd get to do it with you, and I'm not going to get emotional, but the thing I love about this channel is that everybody can get involved. I know there's lots of people who are not Manchester United fans who like my content, like my personality, and like the way I do things. And you know, I'll always say that for me, it's always about the interactivity. I know a lot of people do a lot of different things around the football, and you know, they'll have 4 or 5 people sat with them, or one other person sat with them. Yeah, it's harder to do it this way because you're sat there and, you know, on your own. But for me, I live off and buzz off the fact that we've got people in the chat, and you know, so I really, really appreciate it. Why is Ricky on not United Stand anymore? Did you fire him? Says James. Why are you asking a question about United Stand on a boxing watch along, mate? And actually, you know what? I'm going to answer it because it's 3:30 in the morning. I'm constantly talking on the United Stand about messages I have with Ricky. So does your little wet brain work in that way, that I've fired somebody, yet I'm still talking to them? Maybe that somebody just doesn't want to do the social media scene anymore. They're getting older in life. They just don't want to do that. You know, maybe that's the story. Or is that not the story you want to believe? Do you want to believe the lies that get put out there about people being fired or this, that and the other? You know, sometimes real life isn't that dramatic. I actually love you, Mark. I feel like I know exactly. I know you when I actually don't know you. You're the best, says Dale G. Well, thanks for the super chat there, mate. And I am Shrekable says, calm down, Mark. He was just asking. I don't need to calm down, mate. I'm not angry. I don't need to calm down. I know I've been doing this long enough to know when people are trying to cause trouble, and that's just a cause trouble comment about, you know. If anybody says, oh, calm down, he's just asking a question. If he's just asking a question, why doesn't he ask a question like, why is Ricky not on the United Stand anymore? Really enjoyed him on the United Stand. Why does somebody have to mention firing him? You know, that's not just asking a question. That's somebody asking a question and exposing the negative, which exposes their negative as well. I get on with Ricky very, very well. We're having a night out this week, actually. So, you know, there's never been any any hint of that, to be honest with you. Ignore the idiots, says Ants. Mate, there will always be idiots, of which they'll get blocked. But we've got our community. I know what people are on about. I know what the angles are. If you don't like it, there's plenty of other stuff to go and watch. But, you know, it's that easy. And the great thing is you've got the block button. I wasn't trying to cause trouble. I was just asking a question, says James. Well, next time, maybe think about how you word a question, because actually saying did you fire somebody is disrespectful and negative. So have a word with yourself in the future. Just keep calm. They probably want a reaction, says Red. Look, I don't know why people think I'm not calm. I feel absolutely fine. But I'm just saying, I will call out people who try to create trouble, because we don't need that. We don't need that. The fight starting, well, we're in round 6 of the fight before at the moment. So what are we at? 10-4. I think we're looking at... could be, to be honest, at the moment, the way this is going, round 6 of 10, this is looking like it could go the distance. He's just knocked him down on his knees, but he's up. We might be up. We might be looking at... Oh, that's the end of the ring, end of the round there. So if this goes the distance, points decision. I don't think this fight's going to be over until about 4:15, which means we're pushing towards 5 o'clock for Wilder against Fury. Anyway, what we didn't get to do is we didn't get to have a look at what people's opinion was. So I've gone with Fury to win in round 6. Type as your prediction, but then next to your prediction, if the other person's going to win, what do you think? So I think Fury in round 6, but if Wilder's going to win, I'm going to go round 3. Takes him about 10 minutes to get to the ring, exactly. Jordan says, I knew it would be 5 a.m. I don't think it will be 5 a.m, but I'm just saying it could be 5 a.m. I'm saying, at the moment, I'm feeling if this goes the distance, 4:45. But a lot of people did predict 5 a.m. at the start. So let's have a read what people are saying. Slay says Fury in round 5 or Wilder in round 2. Remember, I'm going Fury in 6, but if Wilder wins, I think round 3. Wilder will win round 6, says Omar. Wilder in 4, says Hoop City. Fury technical KO, says Harum. Fury round 8, Wilder round 4, says Connor. Fury KO round 9, and Unknown User says Fury in round 5. Wilder round 7, knockout. Fury round 9, knockout, says Declan. I'd like it to be a longer fight. I really, really would. Wilder to win, but Fury to win as well, says Wayne. Don't know how that's going to work, but I'm interested to find out. Fury in round 7, Wilder in 2. Fury will win, though, says Josh James. And, yeah, look, let's talk about that for a few minutes as well. Why, we can all have predictions about rounds, but why do you feel that that Wilder's got a chance? What? Well, here we go, then. Let's give Wilder a bit of focus. What worries you about Wilder, or do you just not think there's a chance? And we'll read some of that out. Hi says, should I support Newcastle or Man United? Will Man United win any titles in the next 2 years? Yeah, you're going to be really popular. Hi, thanks for the super chat though. 6 months member Pat says Fury bust his right ear and KO in 7. So that's from Pat. A win for Fury in the 4th round. Do you think Ole Gunnar is good when it comes to motivating his players like Pep? Says Andreas. I'm not going to talk about football, mate. So thank God you asked something about the boxing, but I'm not really interested in talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because I do it every day on the United Stand. But all I'd say about that is that this time next week it's the start of Ole's last stand, or the big, hopefully the beginning of something. Mark, who was better, you think, Rio or Vidic? See, wait, I'm not talking about football. I don't really want to talk about football. I don't mind doing comparisons of football to boxing, but we're here to talk about boxing. I've not got up at 3 o'clock in the morning to talk about United's best centre-back pairs or Ole's tactics. I want to stay awake. Scooby-Doo, says Alphen. So Wilder has got nothing to lose, says Umar. That's the sort of comment I want. That's the sort of thing I want. I think that Wilder always got a chance with his power, just can't see it landing, says Jelly. And look, that is exactly it. Those 2 points that people have made are exactly it. He's got the power. He's proven it through his career. He's got the power to knock someone down. And this fight might be coming towards an end here. Round 7 of 10. They're both getting tired. But it's been quite an equal fight. The ref stepped in a couple of times for both of them. It just feels like maybe one of them's about to land the punch to finish it. He's gone for it there. They're both chucking it around here. And that's the end of the round. Oh, it's a shame. Hi Mark, got Fury round 3, then off to Cheltenham to see the Great Dane Peter Schmeichel. Also got tickets to both Liverpool and City games this week, says Liam. Sounds good. Is that an evening with Schmeichel? Opinions on AJ and what do you think about AJ versus Fury, says Callum. Well, I'm glad somebody asked me about that because I think it fits in quite nicely with Wilder. I'm not saying that Wilder and Fury are the same, but I think Wilder would... Here we go then. Controversial straight away. So, Wilder has to do 3 things tonight. 1, he's got to learn to box better. 2, I think he's going to have to, win it early. And 3, Fury's got to be clueless. Bloody hell, I don't know how he didn't win that fight there. I didn't see that bit. It smacked him right full on the face when he's on his knees. And he's carried on. Fair play. He should be getting knocked out for that. Hi Mark, would you consider doing a Formula 1 watch along, says Dimitri. I have done one in the past and I would do it if it didn't clash with football so much. So I do like Formula 1 and I love doing a watch along. But I've got to say, all it takes is 1 punch, says 2D. I'm most interested to see if Wilder has added anything to the arsenal or will he just go all out for the KO again, says Samuel. And that's it. I'm not saying that Wilder can't win it going for the KO, but I think if he wants to win this, I think his chances of winning this by trying to win it like he did before as a percentage is probably 20%. If he's just going to go and try and knock him out, his chances of doing that, I think, are low. But if he's learnt to box and be more patient, I think his chances move up to probably 30-40%. But here's a controversial take. I think if Wilder was to if Wilder was to fight AJ, I think Wilder would win. I like AJ, but I don't think he's lived up to... I don't think Fury against AJ would be as exciting as this. I think I think what makes that fight is it's 2 British fighters and it would be just massive. But I actually think Wilder's more dangerous and I think he's a better boxer. Doesn't mean AJ couldn't beat Fury, but because again, you're talking about the events, the moments, the power. But I think Wilder's a better. Wilder's a better boxer than AJ, and I think AJ. I could just see Wilder catching AJ and putting him down, and like Lee Evans says, AJ's got a glass jaw, and that's what worries me. I think AJ could be put down by Wilder. And look, Carl says Fury would kill AJ in boxing terms. Look, there's always a chance. There's always a chance in heavyweight boxing, but again, I think the only thing that beats Fury is Fury. We know he has that sort of mental battle. He's spoken openly about the mental health and things like that, and I think if Fury gets into the ring and he's not in the right mental state, then he almost defeats himself. But if he's focused, I think he's a very, very hard person to beat. Nobody can't be knocked out. He's not the Terminator. You've got to catch Fury with an absolute 1 in a million punch, and so yeah, I think AJ could beat Fury, but reality is, if you had that fight 10 times, I think Fury wins it 8. Gaz is going for a Wilder second round KO. I think if Wilder's going to win it, it will be in the first 3 rounds. Hi Mark, I'm out here fishing. I've just woke up to watch it. Even better seeing you do a watch along, says George. Thank you for the super chat, George. I supported Man United since I was 7, but let's be honest, as they won't win titles under the current ownership, says Hi. Thank you very much. He's thinking about supporting Newcastle, apparently. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. You're very welcome on the channel. Bottom right-hand corner to do that. This fight looks like it's going the distance. It's a shame, really, because I think if this fight had gone like 5 rounds, we'd be on the ring walks by now. But this fight's gone the look how big Vegas is. You never appreciate how big it actually is. But this fight's gone the distance, so we are looking at sort of 4, half 4 start at the moment. Won't be before half 4. Mike Tyson in his prime versus Tyson Fury. Who would win, says Andreas. I mean, the brilliance of Mike Tyson is that, can you imagine Mike Tyson in a ring against Tyson Fury? The size difference was ridiculous. What was Mike Tyson's... Here, I'm going to Google this. Mike Tyson height. What was Mike Tyson's height? 5'10". So 5'10" against what? 6 foot. What's Fury's height? 6'9", something like that. I mean, the fact that Mike Tyson won heavyweight fights at his size was just unbelievable. If Tyson had been 6'3", no one would have ever beat him. But I suppose, I mean, to actually catch Fury on the chin, Tyson would have to be punching up. It's unbelievable. But no, Tyson's the better boxer. I mean, he was just unbelievable. It's like an animal, like a pit bull. He was brutal, says David Loyes, and he was just unbelievable. But it would be a total and utter mismatch to see Mike Tyson against Tyson Fury, because I just don't know the size difference. But he did it. He did it throughout his whole career. It's not like he fought everyone who was 5'10" in the heavyweight division. Is there anything worse than changing your club allegiance, says Javan? Yeah, it's not great, is it? Please subscribe, by the way. We're on the road to 552,000. We're currently on 551,600. So make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Thanks everyone who's watching, and please share the video, and thanks for all the super chats. So really appreciate that on the build up to this fight. Harry says, how are you doing? I feel okay, actually. I actually feel all right. I feel okay. What are your thoughts on Amir Khan? Do you think he's a good boxer, says Hamas? I just think, in relation to him, it just didn't get to where we thought it was going to get. It's a very, very hard sport. This is round 9 of 10, so this is going to definitely go the distance. They've only got a minute left of round 9. Which means we're going to have about 10 minutes of points decision. So, yeah, we're heading... I think this could start at 4:30, maybe 4:45. But it's a distance fight, this one. Do you reckon sorry, hi Mark, do you reckon you would KO Fury? Says Charlie Thompson. I don't think there's a punch I could throw. No. Hi Mark, hope you're well. Use this super chat to buy you and Ricky around next weekend, says Chris. Always liked hearing his view on all things United. Fury to win in round 6 for me. Keep up the quality content. Yeah, I've gone round 6 for Fury. As I say, I think look, the intriguing thing about this fight is that when it actually does start, when that bell rings, the intriguing thing for me is that it's one of those that we already know if Wilder's going to win it, he's going to have to throw a punch, obviously, but you know, he's going to have to throw a big punch. And that big punch could happen at any point. So I don't think we're going to be whichever way your allegiance is. I don't think we're going to be sat watching that fight, relaxing into it, thinking, you know, this is going to go 8-9 rounds. The reality is Wilder could throw that punch at any point, and that means, you know, it's just going to be a very intriguing watch. I have also been a City fan for the last 2 to 3 seasons, says Jamar, but now probably Newcastle for sure. I hope this is just early hours nonsense, but there you go. Johnny Rotten's up for 4 AM. A lot of people will be joining us from now because it's just gone 4 o'clock. So a lot of people will be joining us. You're very, very welcome. We've got 1 round left of the fight before. So whatever happens, we should have both people in the ring sort of around 4:30, and then it's just about when they start it. Reminder to have a stretch, as Rowan. Well, I haven't had a stretch yet in an hour. That's a good point. And yes, I have got my pyjama bottoms on. So yeah, nice little stretch there. Mark, you probably got this question 100 times already, but have you heard about Basuma, says Nathan? I only heard that he was arrested, Nathan. I don't really know what it's all about, but I do believe innocent till proven guilty, and you know, we'll have to just wait and see what happens. Do you think AJ was overhyped, says Jivan? I think it's happened in the past. I do think it's happened in the past where we've had people who are, you know, it probably happens in every country, and it's not just in boxing. You get somebody coming through and you overhype them because you want them to be better than they actually are. You know, look at football. Theo Walcott sort of came into the scene in between Owen and Rooney. Owen burst onto the scene in the '98 World Cup. I think we took Walcott to the 2002 World Cup in Brazil as a 17-year-old, and he just never. His whole career, he never hit the hype. Now, is AJ a Theo Walcott or is AJ a Michael Owen? I think many people hoped he was going to be a Michael Owen. Michael Owen won a bloody Ballon d'Or, played for Real Madrid. But he could end up being a Theo Walcott, where that potential was there, but he probably got hyped a bit. And it happens. Ultimately, I like AJ. I'd like to see AJ Fury, but where I am with that at the moment, I think a couple of years ago I thought that would be a really interesting fight, and I didn't really have a favourite, like who I wanted to win. I was just sort of like, I'd watch that and be really intrigued. I think now, for me, Fury's just a better boxer by a long way, so AJ's got a lot of work to do. But the rematch he's got with Usyk would be, if he can win that, that would be an interesting comeback for him. So it's not over for AJ at all, not over. But at the moment, quite rightly, there is that question mark above him. If you got offered a YouTube boxing fight, would you take it? And who would be a preferred opponent? Cheers for the content, says Cameron. I've already been offered them, mate. There was a lot of interest a couple of years ago. My answer's always been the same. I like boxing, I respect it, and I wouldn't want to make a gimmick out of it. Getting into the ring with somebody that I apparently don't like. That's not boxing for me. Boxing for me is a professional sport, and I respect it too much to just go and get in a ring with someone. Why not have a game of chess? I tell you what fighter I did like though, and it was quite a long time ago. Remember Prince Naseem? He looked unbeatable for a long time, and then I think what happened with him is that you get to a certain sport, again, it's transferable to other sports, the journey to the top, you look on, McGregor, better by United, says Nathan. Is Conor McGregor not in this situation where the fight's over now, who's it going to go to on points? Sanchez thinks he's won it, the Cuban, but I think with Naseem, the fight to get to the top, he looked unbeatable. And then you get to the top, and then do you start to enjoy the trappings of being at the top and you lose a bit of hunger? I think that's what happened with Prince Naseem Hamed. He was a fantastic boxer, and I think he got to the top and probably took his eye off the ball a bit. As a little kid, my favourite boxers were Prince Naseem Hamed, funnily enough, says Dr. 07, and Frank Bruno. How about you, Mark? Which boxers did you enjoy back in the day? Really, for me, boxing is about... what gets you into the sports. For me, Graham Marks just mentioned Nigel Benn there. I actually did really like Chris Eubank, and the sad thing is there was 2 fights that happened when I was growing up that really were amazing fights to watch, but ended up quite sad. Nigel Benn against, I think his name was Gerald McLennan, who was the American fighter, and Chris Eubank against Michael Watson. Both ended up with McClellan and Watson quite severely disabled from the result of those fights, which is obviously the risk. There is a risk. Some people don't like boxing because of that risk. But that's what really got me into boxing. Was Saturday night boxing on IT. It just used to be on normal TV. Saturday night, 9 o'clock, and that super middleweight era was just fantastic, and used to get it on normal TV so everybody could watch it. That's why it's always sad, I think, that the Champions League is on pay-per-view TV. I think the great thing about the World Cup and the Euros and Wimbledon is that these sports and the Olympics are all on free to air, and that's why there's a lot of money in boxing, because it's all pay-per-view, but it also it's all behind pay-per-view, so you've got to pay to watch it or find other ways of watching it. But I grew up able to just watch it for free. Certainly that super middleweight division was fantastic. Eubank became a very boring fighter after the Michael Watson thing. I think he, obviously rocked him when you give someone brain damage like that. And, he became a very technical boxer. But that Nigel Benn against McClellan is probably one of... I've never revisited it really, because it had a very sad ending. But I think that's probably one of the best fights I've ever seen, Benn against McClellan, because I just remember McClellan was a big hitter, American, and he put Benn through the ropes in the first couple of rounds, and it was probably could have been... he punched him through the ropes. I think a judge probably should have stopped the fight, but it was a real rocky sort of comeback. Mark, I think you missed my super chat, says Michael. Sometimes it happens, Michael. Sorry about that. And do you think Fury was disrespected for a while, says Jivan? Yeah, 100%. You know, I think Fury's been through such a challenge. You know, some of it brought on himself. But Sanchez has won this fight, WBC champion. So 4:10. First punch thrown, maybe 4:45, maybe just after 4:30, we'll see. But hi Mark, it's my 15th anniversary for being a member of the United Stand. Sadly, I can't send super chats on the channel, not sure why, says Aaron. Anyways, lots of love. I don't know what that's all about, Aaron. I think a few people have that problem, but you're very welcome on the channel. Hasnan says Fury will technically outbox Wilder. Audley Harrison. We've had a few, haven't we? Audley Harrison, David Haye. I used to quite like it, David Haye, and he did do quite well, David Haye, but there's a difference. You know, we're talking about whether Tyson Fury's been disrespected. You know, I think there has been a few boxers out there, especially in the heavyweight division, that you hoped would be, you know, top of their game, best fighters in the world. And, you know, David Haye, Audley Harrison, they're from this division, of course. But here we are tonight with Tyson Fury, and there's no question marks about whether he's the best boxer in the world. I think he is the best boxer in the world. And, you know, I think that... I mean, look, this is it. They're just showing it on the TV here. That moment where Wilder's put Fury down, he must love it. And then when you see Fury just get up, that must be so hard mentally. But yeah, I do think Fury's probably been disrespected, because I think the way the media works is that when they get something negative on you, that's what they run with. And we saw a lot of negative things on Fury, obviously involving you know, illegal activities, the drugs and things like that, which for me would never be a problem, because, as I say, it's the old adage of, you know, not everyone, you know, people act like their farts don't smell. People make mistakes in life. And I think Fury probably got disrespected as a boxer because of the issues that were surrounding him. You know, he put a lot of weight on, didn't he? You know, he came out with a lot of things that, you know, and said things that he shouldn't have said. But it's the rough edges of Fury that make him such an intriguing and appealing boxer, because, you know, we're all different, aren't we? And Fury's said some really interesting things. You know, and I say interesting, I think wrong. But, you know, and he's also disrespected himself in relation to, you know, the shape he let himself get into. And he, you know, obviously said that a lot of that was about mental health. But here he is tonight, and arguably he's the best fighter in the world. Some would say not arguably. And, you know, it's very hard to be in that situation. There's not many boxers, British or non-British, who can basically, you know, be considered the best heavyweight boxer in the world for a period of time. And I think Fury's been in that category for a couple of years now. And, you know, tonight is the opportunity for him to really confirm that. So I think he deserves the respect for his boxing ability, 100%. Do you think if Ferguson is too old to manage, it would be amazing to have him back, says Nathan? I'll tell you what I think. I think early hours of the morning does weird things to people's head. I feel like I'm back on the Super Bowl again. Ooh, I'm blinded by the night. I'll tell you what, that's done me good. Those sneak cans have done me really good. Do 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 do. I just reading there. I mean, one thing I just wanted to know is that obviously talk about respect for Fury. I'm sure we've got some American viewers or non-British viewers. If Fury was to win today, what is the weight of feeling? When the going gets tough, Ollie gets rough, says Nathan Kearney. When the going gets tough, Ollie gets rough, Ollie gets rough. What is the perception of Tyson Fury outside of the UK, especially in America? Are you desperate for Wilder to win? Is he disliked? Does he have that potential to be, we're talking about Fury and we're saying that, look, Fury really is the man, the complete heavyweight boxing champion of the world. If he can win tonight, he establishes himself as the, undisputed best. Does he have the respect in America if that happens? So strange seeing you live during the day in Melbourne, says Hudson. Yeah, big shout out to the worldwide crew. And I have thought about streaming UFC events. It's a bit of a newer sport for me, UFC, and I'm not as confident, giving my opinion on it as I am with other sports. But I do like McGregor. Again, controversial. Most people in South Africa are with Fury, says Ethan. I live in New York and couldn't care who won, says Red Devils. Fury's got street cred, says Chris. And Eddie says, I'm in America and we boxing fans believe that Wilder is horrible technically as a boxer and we are rooting for Fury. He's definitely bigger than AJ is in America. Fury's reached the worldwide audience because of his story, says JC20. Well, it's funny, I was thinking about this. We're not doing the ring walks yet, but I was thinking about this. I mean, look at Wilder. They're just showing some Wilder stuff. He's quick. He's powerful. He's dangerous. Tyson Fury has huge respect here in the States. His story is incredible, says Dino. This is the thing I wanted to ask about it, really, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but Fury did this thing where he basically signed a deal in America, didn't he? And he started doing fights in America to build his profile in America. And a lot of boxers do this. I mean, Amir Khan did it. Somebody was on about him before. And it doesn't always work out because you've got to win those fights and build it up. And I think I've never really picked up on the fact that the Americans haven't warmed to Fury and don't like Fury. I feel that he's put the hard yards in relation to that deal that he had with the Americans. Nathan Kearney says, I'm from American. Fury is my favourite. All my friends love Fury also. Thanks for singing the Ollie song, says Nathan. I'm from the USA and we all know Wilder is trash, says Richard. And Fury's a talented fighter, but the thing about Wilder is all he needs is one punch. We don't worship Wilder as much as you Brits do with Fury, says Zubi. And this is what I mean. So very, very, very grateful for the super chats as ever, but very grateful for everyone who's getting involved. Is that I think that Fury has sort of done well, and America with boxing, all my life the big fights are in America. They do dominate it because the money's there, and I think Fury's as I said, done a lot of groundwork in relation to that. And I think as Brits we get quite obsessed with let's have, and Pat says obviously the story of Tyson is great. Yeah, and I don't know. I've never lived in America. I don't know what it's like in America, but I think the British press are more unforgiving than maybe the American press is. That the American press would probably laud and praise the underdog and challengers' stories that Tyson's been through, whereas the British media, I don't necessarily feel that they do that. I'm not tired. I'm all right, actually. I feel actually loads better than I thought I was going to feel. So I feel okay, actually. I'm feeling good. I hope you are as well. And yeah, I think that it is interesting that we're getting a lot of people saying that Americans are loving Fury's story and, maybe not behind Wilder as much as, you'd expect, because he's the American fighter against the British fighter. Thanks for the super chat there from Gwyn. And the fight's not started yet, but it is the next fight. So we're 4 here, and it's amazing how actually, you know, earlier on I was like, oh, you know, they'll have started this fight by about 4:30, but the time absolutely flies by, doesn't it? I think it's the excitement and the anticipation that has allowed this. You know, we've been live since 3 o'clock. It's now 4:20. It's the build-up, the anticipation, the excitement for this fight is really building up, and the time is flying by because of it. So, very, very excited to see how it's going to go, and I hope that well, look, for me there is no outcome that doesn't fill me with excitement. Well, you know, I don't want Wilder to win. I want Fury to win. But as I said, I think from second one of this fight, I'm going to be nervous. I'm going to be on the edge of my seat because I know that Wilder can just throw one punch and that could be the game changer. But also I know it's got the potential to go 12 rounds. So, yeah, very, very exciting. Carl says it'll be a 5 a.m. ring walk. I don't think they'll wait 40 minutes to have a ring walk. But, you know, what happens if they draw? Well, you never really draw. You go to, you know, it goes to the judges. So I think that it will go to the judges, and I suspect that what we need is a definitive. I think, look, I want Fury to win. I think Fury will win. My prediction is round 6, Fury. But I don't think you want 4 fights. I think 3 fights, a trilogy is fine. I think 4 fights is a little bit much. If Wilder wins, I don't know. I don't really like boxing politics, so I can't really speak with this with any definitive knowledge. I don't know. I know AJ is going to have a rematch with Usyk. I don't know what the next fight is for Fury if he wins. If he loses, I presume it becomes another rematch. Opinion on Ollie: I want him to stay and build, but everyone wants him out. I don't get it, Mark. Are they deluded, or is it just me? Says GG. Keep it for the United stand, mate. We're talking boxing, but look, that'll kick in next week with Ollie. If he wins, he'll stay. Ivan Scannell says nobody really wanted to see the 3rd fight, never mind a 4th. Yeah, well, I think that's a great point, actually, that nobody's actually mentioned. That we didn't probably need... Ethan, did you watch the last 2 fights, Mark? Yes, I did. And I think that's why we didn't really need a 3rd fight. This is about contracts, isn't it? This is about, you know, sometimes... You know, Wilder Fury, the first fight, Fury wanted that probably more than Wilder. Wilder was the bigger catch, and the trouble is when you sign that deal, God knows what you're signing up to. You know, Fury's basically beat him twice. The draw wasn't a draw, that was a win. The second game was a win. The second fight was a win. So really, we didn't need to see Fury versus Wilder 3. Really, this only benefits Wilder, and if Wilder wins this, we'll have to see Fury Wilder 4, and it becomes a bit stupid then. But it is what it is, and you know, that's why I think for boxing, you know, even if you want Wilder to win, it's not good for boxing if Wilder wins and then he's got to have another rematch with Fury. I think we want to move on from Fury Wilder. I think, you know, maybe have a fight again in 3 or 4 years' time if you're both still at it, but I'd like to see them go and fight other people now. There are interesting fights that they can have. And I don't think we need to see another Wilder against Fury. And also, I think if Fury wins this, I don't think we ever need to see a Fury Wilder again for a long time. Never really been a fan of boxing, but there's something refreshing about Fury, mainly how real he is, says Jivan. Well, I love that. I love to hear that there's people who are, you know, getting into boxing because of this. Because, look, it's a fantastic sport, boxing. It's a dangerous sport, of course it is, but it's a fantastic sport. The work they put in, you know, weeks and weeks and months of preparation. You know, this is a very technical sport. It's not like Rocky. There's not going to be 20 smacks to the head and he's not going to hit me harder. You're not going to get anything like that. It's a fantastic sport, and if you are new to it, I hope you enjoy it, because it's like the Super Bowl. You know, it is, in boxing terms, this is an event. This is probably the event of the year. It's massive. It's an absolutely massive fight. And, you know, I know for some people you'll be massively excited for many reasons. But let's just have a look what's going on here. I don't know whether we might be at Rink Walks here. No, we're not quite at ring walks yet. They're building it up. They're building it up. I'm Canadian. Fury is a complete fighter. He can swat, he can box. Wilder can swat, but not technically sound. We saw this in fight 2, says Gwyn. I think with Wilder, we either see something new, or he's going to have to try and win it the way he's won it before. Can I just give a shout out, massive shout out to the Draughty Devil as well, who at short notice redesigns the studio for us. I think it's looking brilliant. Hi Mark, I love your content. Will you come to Ireland soon for a meetup? Thanks for keeping us entertained. I will, James. I messaged my mate about this the other day who lives in Ireland. I don't know whether your bars are properly open yet, but KO incoming. Who's your money on, Mark? Says James Gallagher. If I was betting on this, I'll bet on Fury. Round 6. If Wilder's going to win, round 3. But yeah, it is starting now. National anthems at the moment, ring walks. So we're looking just before 5 a.m, aren't we? They might hold off till 5. Every champion who loses deserves a rematch no matter what, says Dennis. Ireland opens up on the 22nd of October. There you go. So I might come over for Christmas. What country haven't you visited that you want to get to? Embarrassingly, I've never been to America. I'd love to go to America. And I'd like to go to India, Australia, South America. There's quite a few places I'd like to go. And also, I've never been to Scandinavia. For some reason, I'm really attracted to that. The fight is close to starting. Contracts are contracts, says Activate 8. And morning from Q8. Yeah, let us know where you're watching from in the chat, by the way. We're on the official build-up now, so exciting times. And I think we're sort of past that point of not row return, but I think we're sort of past that point of predicting the start of the fight because we are on the ring walks. I'm saying 4:45. That might even be a bit too early as well. Everyone who said 4:30, we were wrong. We were wrong. It could still be a 5 o'clock, but I think it might be a little. It depends how anal they are about starting it on a 4:30 or a 5 o'clock, because it could be that. How to watch the match in India, says Surash. It's not a match, it's a boxing fight, but I've got no idea how you can watch it in India. Must be on a pay-per-view or something. Tonight on Love Island. Good luck in India, you got no chance. Up the moors, says Richard Ryan. Big win. Shout out to Solihull. I love you. I fucking love you, mate, says M Skillet. I fucking love you. I've watched that the other night. I fucking love you. I ain't fucking leaving. I love it. Absolutely love it. It was great. It was absolutely great. Please share the video if you're watching, by the way. We've got nearly 8,000 watching. I would absolutely love it if we went north of 10,000 when the fight actually starts. You've got to pump it up. Yes, you've got to pump it up. So please share the video if you're watching by clicking the share button. Make sure you subscribe. Thanks everyone who's tuned in. Really enjoyed it. Enjoying it. I've not enjoyed it yet. I don't know what time we're going to be live till. We'll certainly have to analyse the fight a little bit afterwards, because I think that's the great thing about boxing. Is that, you know, once the fight's over, it's a bit like, you know, watching a film. You've got to spend a few minutes at least just talking about it and seeing what's going to happen. But I'm very intrigued by this, and I love this. You know, it's 4:30 in the morning in the UK, and I feel like wherever you are in the world, or whether you are in the UK, we're about to witness something that certainly in boxing doesn't even happen every year. You know, I think in UFC you're quite spoilt. You get lots of events each year. In boxing, you know, especially in the heavyweight division, and we had a great fight a couple of weeks ago in London town. But this is the spectacle of the year. This is, and obviously COVID has stopped a lot of this as well. So, it feels to me like this is just a real moment, and I'm very excited about it. So I hope you are as well. And I've really enjoyed the last hour and a half as well. But we're getting towards it. Wilder's still putting his gloves on, says Mr. Rory. Yeah, we might be looking at... I mean, I'm not really that bothered when it starts now. If somebody'd said at 3 o'clock when we started it's not going to start till 5, I would have been a bit daunted by it. But to be honest with you, I'm just enjoying the moments at the moment. I'm enjoying the build-up. The ring walk's going to start. And could be 4:45 then. I mean, bricking it now. Southgate. I've got to admit, I'm getting a little bit nervous myself now. I think but that's what you want. That is what you want. You want a fight like this to be exciting, and this is exactly what you want. I'm going Fury round 6. I'll stand up in a minute, Mr. Eds, and I'll probably be doing quite a lot of standing up when the fight happens. I think most of the fights I've used to... I remember watching Frock, because he's from Manchester. He's from Nottingham. I remember watching him a few years ago, and I like standing up watching football as well. Fury reunites Ireland and the UK. I think the great thing about Fury is it's not even... I mean, obviously it helps that he, he's based in the UK, but I do think Fury transcends that. I think he is somebody that a lot of people just like him. I think you can like Fury and not be from Ireland or the UK. I think you can be American or Australian or Indian or anywhere and like Fury. I think he's that sort of a boxer. But then on the other hand, people might not like him. So, come on, Tyson. Can't wait for this, Mark, says Fraser. Yeah, massively excited by it. Really, really excited by it. Fury inside is an absolute nut job, which is why he's the best heavyweight boxer in the world. I think he'll knock out Wilder in round 6. Wilder's weight will do him over, says Corey. Look, this is the thing about Tyson I find really intriguing. Just talking about, and I don't know the man, but this is why you can't generate a Messi. They call it the Mbappe job, don't they? The guy who's got a kid who, from 2 years of age, has got him doing all these little drills, trying to create Messi. And I'm almost, I don't want that to be. I don't want the Mbappe project to be true in any sport. I don't want it so that you can basically create a Messi or a Tyson Fury or someone like that. I love life that it throws up these people that you couldn't test tube them if you wanted to. And look at Tyson Fury. All right, he comes from a family of boxers, but there's boxing and then there's elite boxing, and he is a product of his demons as much as he is his brilliance, because for all his issues he's had and for all the things that he said that obviously would be regrettable in relation to the publicity it received, there's got to be something in the bad side of Tyson, or the demon side, that makes him as strong as he actually is. That mental toughness is ridiculous. Like he should have lost to Wilder. He should have lost to him in the first fight. Like, he shouldn't have got up, but he did. And I said this to me and Incy were talking. Paul Ince were talking about boxing because he likes his boxing. His cousin's Nigel Benn, and we were talking all about that. And then we were talking about this Wilder versus Fury fight a couple of weeks ago. And he was like, I think Fury will win it, but, Wilder's dangerous. And I said, but the thing with Fury is, and I don't like saying this, is that to beat him, you've almost got to kill him. And I don't mean like physically kill him, but, you've got to kill his boxing career. You've got to put him on his arse so hard that he's Sparko. And anybody can be knocked out. Like, people who say Fury can't be knocked out, I guarantee you, there is a punch you can knock him out, because he's human. But you're going to have to if he's got any semblance, his mental capacity and desire is that the punch that puts normal people down and makes them say, I'm not going to get up, doesn't put Tyson Fury down. To beat Tyson Fury, you've got to knock him out cold. Because if there's any flicker of understanding in his eyes, he will get up no matter how bad he feels, and that's a very hard man to beat. Mark, if Fury wins, who does he fight next? It was supposed to be AJ, but since he's lost, he's out. Who would be his next opponent? Oz, I've got no idea. I'm not even going to be that arrogant to start talking about that. I'm sure somebody in the chat will know. I don't know what's next for Fury if he wins. Probably an easier fight, I presume, if he's not going to have to go for one of those. Wilder delayed the fight. Problems with his gloves seems like excuses, says Cameron. What's next for Wilder if he loses? Retirement, says Rahil. You know what? I'm ashamed to say I don't even know how old Wilder is. 35. So yeah, you're sort of getting to that point where it's. I don't think we'll see Wilder Fury again. 33 Fury, 35 Wilder. I don't think we'll see them again, because I think if Fury beats Wilder, you're talking about there wouldn't need to be another Tyson Fury against Wilder fight if Fury wins for a long time, because even if Wilder stayed and became this the genuine contender, you couldn't see that happening for a while. Dylan White's fighting the winner, says Montana. Fury's ready. I can't wait. I'm so excited for this. Hey, look, I don't think it's going to bother Fury if Wilder delays the fight. I think Fury is way above that. As I said, the mental battle in boxing is massive, and if Wilder thinks he's going to frustrate Tyson Fury by delaying the fight a little bit, I think Tyson Fury will just be like, he'll see it for what it is. He's trying to play mind games with Sir Alex Ferguson, isn't it, in his prime. Fury will know Wilder is delaying this. Fury will know that Wilder's trying to, cause an issue here. And look at him. Tyson's ready. He's focused. I don't think there'll be any fear in him. I think that's the thing with Fury. I don't think he looks locked in, says Chris. He's bouncing around in his dressing room. That's what I love about this sport, is that it's obviously all about, it's not all about, but a lot of it's about your technical ability, your power, your ability to box. But like any sport, it's also about this. Amount of footballers I've played in my life who are talented players, who when you're training with them or you're playing at lunchtime, they're brilliant players, and you put them into a match and they bottle it. It's mental strength, and that doesn't mean you're weak if you haven't got it. But I tell you what, you're on a different level if you're someone like these guys, and I think Fury's up for this. I think he's bloody up for this. Just started raining and thundering here in Sydney just before the fight. This is insane, says that one right there. And the footwork's also important, says DK. Yeah, I mean, look, this is something we've not spoken about enough, I don't think. I think Tyson Fury as a boxer defies his height and size. He moves around the ring fantastically well. His dexterity, his agility, his handwork, his footwork, for somebody so big, is actually really, 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 really good. He's definitely the best boxer in the division for me. But as I said, what makes this so exciting, it's like anything. In footballing terms, this is like Man United playing against... Well, actually, Man United wouldn't be the favourites. This is like... It's probably like Man City Chelsea in the Champions League final. You expect Man City to win it because they're better, but Chelsea come in with a boxer's chance and they win it. And I think that's probably what I would call. I think Fury is Man City. He's technically better. He's the better team. But Chelsea are dangerous and are more than capable of winning. And I think that, if you like your football, would be what I would describe. And we all know what happened in that. Bloody Chelsea won. So Wilder can win it. But I think for us people who are watching this, that makes it more exciting, because if Fury wins it, it's not a fight where we're going to go, oh, it's an easy fight. To win it, the odds are close. It's not like Fury's mad odds on and Wilder's 10-1 to win. Their odds are very close together. So Fury is the favourite, but Wilder's got a good chance, and that to me just makes it, as I say, it's the fight of the year for me. It's an event, and I think if you are watching this, you're going to remember it. You are going to remember it. Wilder's just jumped in a taxi. Uber for Wilder, but he's just doing a bit of sparring here, Fury. Yeah, so Wilder's delayed this apparently with putting his gloves on. He's having a big poo, says Tao. Wilder mind games. The mind games ain't going to work. They're not going to work. But actually, just talking about that, just while this is delayed a little bit, looks like it will be a 5 o'clock start. But I was reading about this, and obviously I remember it as well, but I didn't realise the extent of it, because when Fury won, I was just happy. So I didn't really spend a lot of time listening to the loser. Mark is a bit nervous. I am a little bit nervous, yeah. But the amount of excuses that Wilder came out with, he never really came out and acknowledged the fact that he lost to the better boxer, which is always a bit disappointing. But he had a massive list of excuses, didn't he? The stuff he wore, he had that big mask on, was too heavy for him. He was complaining about Fury's gloves. He was complaining about his trainer. Mind games always prevail, says Chaos. In which case Fury wins, because Fury will have already won the mind games. I mean, look, you can delay the fight because you're having a poo. You can delay the fight because, you're putting your gloves on a bit later. You can get in the ring and put, intimidating music on, like Madonna, like a virgin or something like that. But the reality is, there's no mind game bigger than the last 2 fights. I beat you, mate. That's about, I don't care whether I'm playing somebody at chess, FIFA Online, Bake Off. If I'm against somebody that's beat me twice before, then that's a mental battle, and that's it. Wilder can do all he likes, and he can convince himself all he likes, but it's a dangerous game. I always say to my kids, or if somebody ever asks me for any advice, if you've lost, face up to the loss. Don't start talking about you lost because of the trainer, or you lost because of the gloves. If you lose, you lose. The best way to come back from a loss is to actually look at your own issues. Now, it doesn't sound to me like Wilder's done that. Doesn't mean he can't win tonight, but the biggest issue Wilder's got is that he's lost 2 fights. And people will say, well, it was a draw. The first fight wasn't a draw. That was an absolute scam. Fury should have won that. And he definitely won the second one. So if Wilder's only plan in this is to come out and try and knock him out again in the early rounds, doesn't mean he can't do it, but he's running a big risk. And I'll drop it in here now. Everything I've heard from Wilder's camp after that loss last time was excuses. Maybe it'll work, but I'm a firm believer that if you lose something, you've got to look at why you lost, and excuses are very rarely the reason. And again, well, it's gone all dark. Here we go. Let's get this on. If you think about football, if you lose a game for your team, you lose 1-0 because of a late penalty, and you go, oh, it wasn't even a penalty, we're unlucky. I would say, well, you've had 89 minutes against the team you should have beat where you didn't score. Why did you put yourself in a position where you lost on a dodgy penalty anyway? They're not quite out yet. I paid for it. Yeah, I've got it on BT Sport, so I've paid for it. Don't want to mess about with any streams or anything like that for this. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. This is what we've been waiting for. This is the walkouts. I'm getting nervous. How are you feeling? Really, really, really. Danny O'Donoghue, who's the lead singer from the script, says, if you didn't think you were going to lose, then why did you stall the ring walk? Says Danny. Exactly. He might be watching, actually. Big up if you are. Here he comes. He's got another mask on, Wilder. He's wearing another mask. He's going to moan about that. Oh, it was too heavy on my jaw. You might want to keep that mask on your jaw, mate, because... but I like the red and black. I can't knock Wilder for that. I quite like the... I don't like the mask much, but I like the red and the black. It's a good look. He's coming out for his ring walk. It's getting a lot of stick on socials, Wilder, for delaying it. Just saying there, it's the heaviest weight he's ever had. I'm going to take this off now. Take these off. It's fight time. It's fight time. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. Wilder is in the ring, ting. And it's ready to go. Fury's about to come out. He is looking bigger. He's not looking as ripped because he's looking bigger. Oh, let's get ready to rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. First round knockout, says Alan. I think if it's going to be a first round knockout, it's going to Wilder. I'm going to go Fury round 6. Can you feel the heat? Can you feel the excitement? We're talking moments. We're talking big moments. The biggest moment, I believe, in boxing year calendar. Here he comes, Tyson Fury. Can he deliver? I tell you what, it's the nerves that makes it bigger. It really is. Can he do it? Can he do it? The Gypsy King. Can he knock Fury down again? Can he win against Fury again? Or is it going to be the end of the road? Which wouldn't be the end of the road because there'd be another rematch. Come on, Tyson. Not only for Tyson, but for boxing. I think we need to close the chapter here. Close this Fury chapter. You're an absolute legend. Almost 5 AM in UK, says Eric. Thanks, everyone. We've got nearly 8,000 people watching. Make sure you click that share button and share it on your Twitter and your Facebook. We're ready to go. Focus bridge, says James. Feel the power. Oh, God, I'm so nervous. This is why we love sport. I'm going Fury round 6. If Wilder's going to win it, I'm going to go round 3. But, you know, it's that feeling that it could get... Oh, my God. That isn't Fury, is it? No. I thought Fury was there. What's he doing? Well, it's a bit of a piss take from Fury here. He's got something going on. He's got people doing dancing. He's got drummers. It's not really my sort of thing, this, to be honest, from Fury, but... Sparta. It's all them sort of vibes, isn't it? Sparta. 300. It's coming out in some Roman regalia with Frank Warren there. Dun, 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 dun. Come on. Let's have a good fight. The Gladiator. Whatever says Fury's going to get knocked out. I reckon it's going to go the full distance, says Jack. If it goes the full distance, I think Fury will win it. The longer the fight goes, the more it plays into Fury's hands, as far as I'm concerned. But look, I think for Wilder to stand a chance, he's got to do something new. I don't... But then again, I'm contradicting myself because I do... Hold on a minute. What's going on here? Don't turn my box off just because it's been inactive for an hour and a half. It's because we're enjoying ourselves. There we go. None of that nonsense. Get it on, get it on, get it on, get it on. Fury's it's so, you know, a lot of people like to analyse the ring walk as well. They like to look at it and go, oh, that makes a big difference. And I think it, in a certain sense, it does. But again, it's the theatre before the start, isn't it? I think it's the theatre before the actual fight starts. And I wouldn't like to be in Wilder's position, but that's not because I'm Wilder. But that's because I think it's difficult to wait for the other guy. Intriguing. Mind games by Fury, says Dean. It is mind games, of course it is. Of course it is. Gary says that Wilder's done something. Gloves, he's changed his gloves last minute. Fury is a goner. Mind games, Mark, says Chris. Can you feel it? I can feel it. Where's the jumper from, Mark? I got sent it by Sneak Energy. I don't know whether you can buy them. It's nice. I thought it just had a good sort of boxing vibe, so I went for it. Yeah, I like it. Let's get ready to rumble. Have a bit of a stretch, not because I need a stretch, just because I'm excited and nervous. This is why, you know, some people aren't into sport, are they? I love sport because you spend a lot of time reading, preparing, watching. You know, football's my favourite thing, but if you compare it to boxing, it's like, you know, United don't play Liverpool every week, do they? They don't play Liverpool in a cup final every week. And this is what this fight is tonight. It's like a cup final against two amazing talents. And it's hard to read who looks nervous. I would say Fury looks focused and Wilder looks nervous, but that could just be Wilder's focused. You know, you can't read that sort of thing. But if I was predicting the winner off the rings, I would go Fury. But we already know Wilder's to win this has got to knock him out, and you can knock somebody out with one punch. Deontay Wilder upset in the round one, says Neil Childs. We've got nearly 9,000 watching now. If we go past 10,000, that would be epic on our first ever boxing watch along. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. It's time for the main event. It's time to go. It's time to get ready to rumble. I've gone Fury round 6. I don't want Wilder to win, but if he does win, I think round 3. He's had 30 knockouts inside 3 rounds. 7 straight knockouts before the first Fury fight. He sacked his trainer after the Fury loss. 42 fights, 1 draw, 1 loss. Please start the fight, says Kartik. It's been a build-up, all right. But I tell you what, the fact is we've been live for 2 hours and it's absolutely flown by. And I've got to say a big thank you to everybody who's tuned in. Because to be getting up at this time in the morning, I should feel more tired, but I've been absolutely pumped on the buzz from minute one, and I can only thank you lot, because I think if I'd been on my own waiting for this, it would have been very difficult. So big shout out for everyone who's been tuning in or is tuning in now. "30 fights, never been defeated." Obviously he's heavier. So whoever said it's going to be a 5 AM start, well done. Whatever victory that gives you. "It's morning in India. Good morning," says Deep. Your 5 AM start was spot on, and I've got to be honest with you, a lot of people did say 5 AM last night, so you were right about that. It's not bothered me at all. I think that's helped, you know. How many's in the crowd? I think it's only 20,000, isn't it? Centre ring. Time to go. Time to go. Nearly 10,000 tuning in. Get ready to rumble. This is going to be interesting. They look eye to eye. Wilder mutters something. Fury, with the dead eyes of the Undertaker, they're ready to go now. If looks could kill, they just said. Oh, I tell you, I look at Wilder and I think, if you knew nothing about boxing, you'd think Wilder's got a very good chance. Oh, God. Here we go. They're off. They're off. Wilder's looking good. He's looking mobile. Fury stands his ground. Wilder going in for jabs on the body here. Let's put him in the ropes. He's going for the body here, Wilder. Fury just smiling a bit, but not throwing any punches yet. He's going for him. He's going for him here, Wilder. He's thrown about the first 6-7 punches. I don't think Fury's put anything in yet. He's not worked the jab at all. So Wilder's throwing a lot of punches into the body. I don't think Fury's thrown a punch yet. I really don't. I think he's playing on the defence. Fury's going in for the body. Wilder's going in for the body, and then he's going to go hard with the right hand over the top at some point. Wilder's going with the gas. From Canada, called the 5 AM start. Your legend, says Eric Leonard. A little bit nervous by this start at the moment because Fury's done nothing. But if you know Fury, calm. Yeah, it's a very much a fight like this at the moment. Jabs at length by Wilder, looking to go like that. But Fury moves in for a body grab. First round will go to Wilder, but you don't worry about that too much. Poundland Ronnie Pickering, round 3, knockout, 50p, returns a tenner, big stakes business, says the big crapper. It's a good start by Wilder, I'll give him that. Not a surprising start by Wilder, but it's a good start by Wilder. Energetic, and Fury, probably a little bit too standoffish for me, but it's nothing to worry about. He's punching a lot. And he's got him in the corner here. Got to be careful. Good start by Wilder. Fury needs to focus. Ivan says Wilder's going to gas himself out. Well, of course that will happen, but that's not the plan, is it? The plan is to get this done early. Fury bouncing back a little bit here. Oh, big right hand from Wilder, catches Fury. He's definitely won that opening round, Wilder. He started quick, says James, and he's definitely won that first round. Fury a little bit standoffish, but sometimes you've got to be. He's the champ. Wilder is not the champ. Wilder has got to come out with something to prove. It's not Fury's fight to go and win it in the first round. Wilder will try and do that. Wilder came out, threw way more punches. There was a right fist to the face from the end from Wilder, but he'd already won the round for me anyway. Lots of right jabs, looking to get into Fury's body, and then at the end he threw a punch that caught the crowd's imagination, but I don't think it really hurt Fury. But he's playing into the hands of Fury, says Bradley. And Fury catching Wilder as well with a right hand, which will just knock Wilder a little bit. A lot of people in the chat saying Fury knows what he's doing. 10,000 watching. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I tell you what, that punch from Fury at the end of the first round didn't actually catch it in real time. That will make Wilder think. Oh, he's catching him again. He's caught him again with a jab. Fury's working his way back in here. Be harder for Wilder now. Fury's playing the long game, says Lilla. Well, he's picked him off a couple of times. Wilder's got to keep the intensity, but Fury's picking him off. And it's hard. It's very hard when that's happening. You know, you come into the fight, you're up for it, you want to win, you feel you start well, and then you get caught with a couple of punches, and it's just like all this effort I'm putting in, and he's caught me a couple of times already. Fury's starting to break through the defence of Wilder as he's reaching. And the commentator just said there, you know, Fury could be playing a good game here because Wilder's putting a lot into this fight. And Fury's starting to close in. Very standoffish. I'd say 75% of the first round, Fury very standoffish, letting Wilder throw the punches, came back into it, and is starting to come back into it again. Starting to break the defence of Wilder. He'll want this second round, Fury. $12-round fight, by the way. I saw someone say 10. It's 5. Change the name That's Football to That Sport, says Xander. Well, I think 99% of what we do is football, mate. So can't show you the fights. That would be ridiculous, considering people having to pay for it. Fury comes back, was reaching with that right hand. God Loves You says, I kind of feel for Wilder. He's believing his own hype. I think this is a great start. I think this is a great start to the fight. I'm encouraged that we're going to get a good one. Wilder's starting to look tired already. I mean, look, they're going to get tired quick anyway. It's an endurance sport. It's a stamina sport. George feels that Fury's guaranteed won this already and that Fury's landed more, says Marvin AM. Who do you think got the first round, though? Because I think Wilder won the first round, but that punch from Fury at the end was very good. I think that was a closer second round, but I'd go with what the commentator just said there. I think that went to Fury. So maybe it's 1-1. So that's what Conor O'Shaughnessy said. I think a safe bet would be 1-1 after 2 rounds, which we need to keep an eye on. I don't think it will go 12 rounds, but you do need to keep an eye on that. Fury's playing with him, says Dennis. I feel a bit more calm. I do feel a bit more calm than I did. That start from Wilder in that first round had me nervous. I'm not saying Wilder can't win this fight. I still think he can, but I think that the way the fight has settled down after 2 rounds, I'm feeling more confident that Fury's got this. I'm going Fury six round. But the thing with boxing is once it kicks off or punches off, it's the rounds do fly by. But I said if Wilder was going to win round 3, so hopefully, well, what do I know? But hopefully not. So 3rd round's up and running. Ooh. It's a good start to the 3rd round here. Ref breaks them up. I think Fury looks a little less focused than he did in that first round. Wilder tires himself out, says Drisk, by round 4. He usually knocks opponents out before the middle rounds. Yeah. And look, you know, if Wilder's going to win this fight, I hope he's got more than trying to knock him out in the first 3 or 4 rounds. I think he does. I think surely you can't come into this fight and think you're going to knock him out in the first 3 or 4 rounds. And it doesn't feel to me like Wilder's trying to knock him out in the first 3 or 4 rounds. He's got to have more than that. He's well, he's going for it now. Definitely trying to land the punch there from Wilder. The crowd's getting up for this a little bit. I think Wilder might react to it. It could be a punch. He's got him in the corner. I wouldn't say Fury's rocked by any of this, but it might be a Wilder round. He's throwing the punches. The crowd are reacting to it, but sometimes the crowd don't read it. I think the crowd here are just, you know, making out shots are landing more than they actually are. Although Fury's got him on the ropes. He's got him down! He's down! Fury's put him down! Wilder's down! He'll get up! He'll get up! He's rocked! He's rocked! He's in trouble! I actually feel... I don't actually dislike Wilder. I just want Fury to win, but I feel for him there. He looks in trouble. It's a significant blow from Fury. He's put him down. He'll go in again. 20 seconds to go. Fury senses it. He's in trouble. It's over. This is going to be over. He's holding on for the last 10 seconds here. He might just make it. Boxing. He's over. He's going to end it. No. Is he over? Saved by the bell. Woo! He's got him in trouble. He's in big trouble, Wilder, and he knows it. He's gone. He's gone in the eyes. I think Fury's going to come out and finish it here. I actually feel sorry for Wilder. I think he's got a face that... I do feel for him. But Fury's got this. There's only one Tyson Fury, says Jake T. He's got this. I think another 30 seconds and that was gone anyway. He's got him. I said round 3 for Wilder if he was going to win. I said round 6 for Fury. This is going to be round 4. Catches him smack on the side of the face with a right. Sets him up with the left. Smacks across with the right. Comes up with the right uppercut. Another left to the side of the face. He's down. Absolutely got him there, Fury, on the ropes. He's in trouble. If he comes through this round, this could be over very quick. The ref's ready. The ref's ready to go for this. If you're interested, Fury's winning 2 rounds to 1. But Wilder's in trouble here. If he comes through this, he's done really well. Fury just needs to not... He's got him. He's on the ropes again. Fury sensing that win. Oh, he's hanging on, Wilder. He's asleep on his shoulder here. Fury just needs to keep doing what he's doing. He's in trouble. His defence, it's like a bloody Arsenal defence at the moment, which is much improved. But Fury, focused as ever, not making mistakes. He'll win this. He'll win it in this round or he'll win it in the next two. All he's got to do is just keep waiting for that opportunity. Wilder has got no energy. Looks unsteady on his feet. I think one more good punch and he'll go and he'll stay down. Legs are all over the place. I think boxing's so much about the legs. Look at the legs of Wilder. They just don't have any bounce in them. They're like a couple of breadsticks on ice. Fury, look at the bounce in him. This is it. This is it. He's got him on the ropes again. Wilder's got to try and knock him out. I don't think Wilder's got the bloody composure to knock him out. His best bet is to just try and get through a few rounds. I mean, he swung right there and there's just nothing in it. Oh, he's got through. Fury's out. Oh, shit. He's just put Fury down. Oh, he's got through this fight. Oh, my God. Fury now. And he's got to get through 45 seconds. Walked onto a right hand. Oh, my God. No way. And now it's 36 seconds for Fury. He's got to survive. He's got him. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. No. No. Fury's in trouble. Oh, no. They're throwing punches at each other. Shit. Fury's gone down. He's got to get up. He's got to get up, Tyson. He'll get up. Oh my God. How's he got back? The bell saves Fury. Oh my life, what a fight. What a fight we've got here. He's put him down twice and Fury's rocked. Bloody hell. My heart is pumping. It's absolutely pumping. And I've got to say, fair play to Wilder because he should be gone. He should be gone. And his fight's back up again. I think Fury just walked straight onto it. Fucking hell, what a punch right into Fury. Bloody hell. He's Ollie under pressure here. When the going gets tough, Wilder gets rough. Wilder gets rough. Oh, I tell you what. I'm nervous now. Well, Wilder was gone. And now he's back. And now this fight, in round 5, it's anybody's fight now. Wilder's throwing the punches. I think Fury's in... I think he's in trouble here. Because Wilder knows he's put him down twice. I think the next big punch for either of them is a problem. Fury's gone down twice. Obviously, Wilder's gone down once. It's all about the next punch. And at the moment, I think Wilder's got a chance. Wilder becoming Ollie under pressure, says Larson. Fury looks in a little bit leggy himself now. And Wilder's throwing the punches. Both saved by the bell, Romario. 100%, yeah. Here we go. What a shot by Fury. Gets through. Wilder. He's all right. He's all right. And another one. One minute 40 left of the round 5. I said round 6 for Fury. I'm not as confident as I was. They're chanting for Wilder. Wilder trying to look for the right hand. He's through. He's through. He's missed. Come on, Wilder, says Saul. Important round for Fury this. He can't take a big hit in this round. Put down twice in round 4. If he can get through this round without taking a big hit, I think he'll start to get his stamina back. Take it into a longer fight. Wilder's been hit this round. I'd give this round to Fury. Last round to Wilder. So I think it's probably, what are we at, 3-3? It's a better round for Fury now. Stand up and have a stretch. It's not even about a stretch, it's about nerves. What a fight. We promised you that it would be a good... Well, we promised you an event. I think we've had a bloody good fight as well. 15 seconds to go. No one's going to win it in this round. Big round for Tyson, that is. I think he's won it, but he's also got his composure back. He's got his bounce back. And Deontay's obviously going to get more tired now as we go to round 6. Now, I predicted Fury in round 6. Are we going to get a Fury in round 6? If you'd asked me at the end of round 4, I'd have said I was worried. At the end of round 5, I think Fury has recomposed himself. But both have been down. All even, I think, after 6. Which way is it going, everybody? Which way is it going? Bloody hell. I tell you what, it's been a cracker. I thought it was over in round 3. Back comes Wilder. And now we're into round 6. God, the heart's pumping. Fury's looking good. But they've both taken hits. Mark, can you please do a watch along on T20 World Cup? Says Fabath. I don't know about that. Wilder wasn't... Yeah, they just said there on the commentator, Wilder didn't do a lot in round 5. So I predicted Fury in round 6. I think Wilder's tired, and I think Wilder's just waiting. I think Wilder's just playing a puncher's game. I think since he got put down, he's playing a puncher's game here. He's just trying to throw that one punch, which he's got. Oh, God. Well, whatever happens in this, I think we've had a good fight. It's been intriguing. Oh, Wilder. Fury just leaves his head up. He leaves his head up. He leaves himself to be punched sometimes. Gaz says, thanks for this. It's got me on the edge. Well, I think the fight, fair play to the two boxers. It's been good. It's getting a bit grapply at the moment. Which is what happens when you're getting tired. Which way is it going, everybody? I still think it's going Fury. But Wilder has got that. Well, anybody's got it, haven't they? One good punch from either of these. Tyson needs a KO now, says Eric Leonard. Well, I don't know. I don't know. There's plenty of time to go. We're only halfway through the fight. Wilder's going to win, says Kendrick. Oh! It's broken through. Fury again. And another one. He's got him on the ropes. Wilder looks unsteady on the feet again. He's bleeding from the mouth. 40 seconds. He looks tired. He needs the round. He needs the round to end here, Wilder. Fury looking busy. He's got him again. I think this will be another round for Fury. He's not done anything for 2 rounds, Wilder, but look, he looked out of it before. He looked out of it. Was it round 4 he looked out of it? It's not going to be a round 6 stoppage. But Fury looks tired. And that'll be the bell. I think Wilder looks on his feet here. He looks in trouble. He's played... yeah, I've got to say, Wilder's done well. He's done well to get this far. He did well to nearly bloody win it. But he looks absolutely knackered. And we're only halfway through the fight. Tyson's got this easy, says Jack. The only danger in this is if the same thing happens again. It's if Fury walks on to a right-hander. And I don't think Wilder's got many good right-handers left. But he's got a few. And if he winds one up and gets through, you'll put someone down. But, Fury's not been rocked for a few rounds. So, he seems to have regained his composure. So, we go into round 7. He looks tired, Wilder. Fury's definitely taken the last 2 rounds. Wilder's got... I suppose the only thing I would say about Wilder is that he doesn't look like a guy that wants to go a long way. So he's got to wind something up. He's got to try... He's gone again. Missed. This is round 7. He's got to wind something up here, Wilder. I don't think he's got much long left in him. And I think Fury's just going to keep breaking his defence. He's got him on the ropes again here. And look, I've seen people in the chat saying, oh, well, look, you know, Fury got put down twice. Mate, you're going to get put down. You're going to get put down. If someone like Wilder connects with a punch, you're not inhuman. You're going to get put down. I don't think Fury's out of the woods yet. I think at the moment he's back in charge, but I don't think he's out of the woods yet. Glory, glory, United. Tyson's going to win, says Eric Leonard. Thanks for the super chats. Another punch connects with Fury. Wilder's holding on like... Oh, he's unsteady. It's there. His legs are unshaky. It's one punch and Wilder's gone. I think he's ready to get put to sleep. He's knackered. Wilder's absolutely knackered here. Break it up and knock him. Look how tired Wilder is. It's only round 7. Oh. 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 Wilder still throwing punches. Fury's just got to be careful here. He's dangerous. Fury's in the middle of the ring. He's thrown a few back. Oh! 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 He's in for the kill. He's still on his feet, Wilder. It's time to go to sleep. Fury's trying to put him to sleep. The ref's going to break it up. He's so on a knife edge, this, at the moment. 30 seconds to survive for Wilder. Fury can't get through. He's got him. The ref's going to be ready here. 20 seconds. I think he's going to make it. I think he's going to make it. Oh, there's a punch there from Wilder. Thanks for the super chat, Gaz. He's going to make it to the end of the round. Oh, Wilder's just so all over the place. He's going to need a lucky punch, I think, now, Wilder. The composure's gone. On the ropes again. End of the round. He could have had him there. He could have had him there, Fury. It's definitely another round for Fury, but I don't think that's going to matter. I don't think this is going to go the distance. I don't know what you're thinking in the chat, but I've got to say that Wilder's done. But I also want to say well done to Wilder. If he finds a win from here, it will be an epic win. If he doesn't win it, I still think he's played his part. Fury's like an animal. He's obsessed. He's focused. He's tired, but he's obsessed. Jab the motherfucker, says the... I tell you what, his trainer's absolutely spot on though. Do not walk onto a wild punch. You know, that's all Wilder's got now. He's just going to every now and again throw that right hand, and if it connects, it could win it. If you box the fight, you win the fight. Sue, says Reese Clayton. Wilder was on the edge in the last round. For Fury, just box the fight now and you win the fight. You're ahead on points. If this goes the distance, Wilder ain't winning this. He's got nothing. Wilder's only way of winning this is a knockout. Jab, jab, jab. Left hand jab, right hand follow. Exactly. He's got him again in the corner here. Wilder's defence breaking away. It's like a bowling ball through a poppadom at the moment. To recoin a football analogy I've used before. Wild defence like United this season. Next rematch should be at the Emirates, says Zayn Miasi. And got over 15,000 watching. Wilder just gets a lands a shot there. Thanks for the live updaters, Chris. Every punch that Wilder throws now is taking up so much energy. And he knows he's got to land that one. But Wilder's taken a lot. He has taken a lot of punishment the last 3 rounds. I mean, Fury's won every round since he got knocked down. Yes, Fury got put down twice, but it's a round, it's a scorecard, and Fury's a long way ahead at the moment. We're in round 8. He's nearly gone again. He looks like he's had 10 pints of Carling, Wilder. The punishment he's taken. He's got him again. I think this is it. He's been hanging on for a while. Yeah, you could throw the towel in. They're talking about that. He's gone for another punch there, Wilder. Fury's just blocking everything Wilder's got here. He's measuring him up. Letting him burn a bit of energy, throwing empty punches. Fury's going to end him here, says Marvin. He's got him, he's got him. Oh no, just moves there. I thought Wilder was going to pin Fury on the ropes there, but he just steps away. He's got him in the corner. Yeah, spot on from the commentator there. You know, he's still a dangerous guy, Wilder. Another round for Fury. Yeah, I agree. Borrowed time, I think, for Wilder. I mean, he's dangerous, but I do think that if Fury was to lose this fight, he'd lose it. Well, obviously he would lose it, but I think he would. Is it the best fight of the 3? I think the first fight was interesting because I felt Fury was the underdog, and we had those moments, and then the controversy. But I've got to give Wilder a lot of kudos for his fight and desire, and especially the way he came back after being put down. He nearly won the bloody fight. But Fury. If Fury was to lose this, he'd be gutted because he's won this fight. And the only way he's going to lose it is by catching a punch. We're on round 9 now. There's still 3 to go. Doctor having a look at Wilder. Yeah, that's a psychological blow. But Fury needs to not panic about that. Not go too on the attack. Jab, jab, hit. Don't walk onto anything. Finishing per Fury, says Roy Keane official. Yeah, I think I was just going to say that the commentators just said it. There's been 3 or 4 occasions where it's looked like Fury, Wilder was there to be taken, and somehow he's carried on. And I think you've got to give Wilder credit for that. He's really hung on in there, and it's not something he's definitely well known for. But he's got him on the ropes again here. And he's landed something on Fury here. Fury needs to be a bit careful. It should be over by now. I think that's the thing that's worrying me. It should be over by now. So he's just landed something there, Fury. So Wilder on Fury. He's just got to try and land something, Wilder. That's his only chance. And Fury's just got to make sure he doesn't get caught, because it'd be a leveller. At the moment, Wilder is in the fight, but he's unsteady. Here we go. Go on. Finish it, Fury. I just can't whack that final punch in. Minute to go of round 9. He just can't get that last one in. Next fight, Arteta versus Ollie Mart. Who would win, Mr. T or Fury? Says Amy Assey. We'll be playing you soon enough in football. God, nearly 16,000 watching. Thanks everyone for tuning in. It's lived up to it. I'm really glad we did the watch along, because it's lived up to it. It's lived up to all the build-up, all the anticipation, all the excitement. Fury's got this, says Dennis. Ah, mate, I think you're right, but if you're a Wilder fan, Craig's just messaged me, the extra muscle has made him unable to last the pace. Wilder's gassed. I think Fury's just taking his time on this now, making sure he doesn't get caught and just outboxing him. Wilder, look at Wilder. He's so unsteady on his feet, and Fury, again, at some point it's going to be over. Only 10 round 10. Oh, he's uppercut from Wilder. He's trying to go for something. Good round. And yeah, I'm applauding Wilder. I think it's a great effort. I don't think he got that round. It was probably a closer round than it's been for a while, but I don't think it was. I don't think it was his round. But Wilder is still hanging on. What a fight, says Dan Butler. I think it's been a cracker. I thought it would be a cracker anyway, even if he had a first round knockout. But I think in a fight sense, Wilder's done himself a lot of favours. But as I said, I think Fury, I don't know whether Fury should have won it already. I think he could have won it already, but he can't lose this. He's got to see this through. It would be a major disappointment if he was to not bottle it but not win it. He just can't land that killer blow. And when I say killer blow, to win the fight blow. But he is ahead, Fury. I think Wilder can only win this by knockout. He can't win it on coming back and winning the last 3 rounds. He's not going to catch up on rounds anymore. G'day, mate, says Thomas Finton. Do you think big, long and slender boy... I'm not reading anything about that. Sounds a bit sexual. He can lose this, Michael T. Fury can lose this. He can lose this by getting hit. But he ain't gonna win it in 12 rounds. It's not. If this goes to a scorecard, he's lost. He can only win by knocking him out. But we've only got 3 rounds to go. I mean, I think Wilder might just be like, if I can just get myself through, get a little bit of energy, and then just bang. Who do I think is going to win it, Rockstar? Well, I still think Fury's going to win it. I think it might end up... I mean, I don't know. I can't predict how it's going to end. I still think Fury will win it before 12 rounds. If it goes the full distance, Fury's going to win it. He's just got to try and find a way, Wilder, to knock him out. That's what he's got to try and do, which is going to be very hard to knock him out when he's got hardly any energy. He's gone. Bye, night, night. It's got to be over. He's put it. No, he's going to get up, Wilder, again. It wasn't a clean hit, but he has put him down. He's groggy. He's unsteady on his feet. The ref will let it go. He'll let him go. I don't think he caught him clean. Refs lets it go. He's got 50 seconds to survive, Wilder. This should be it. Round 10. Fury's going for him. Wilder's definitely unsteady. He might survive it again. I don't think Wilder's got a punch in him anymore. He'll go and throw a punch in now. It's just, you know what I would say, if Fury wins this, it's been just a gradual demolition job of Fury. Of Wilder. Oh, he's throwing a punch again. Oh, it's uppercut there from Fury though. Holding on a bit. Come on. How's he doing this? Oh, Fury! Fury's getting hit now. Oh, he's thrown a few punches there on Fury as well. I don't know, that round might have gone to Wilder. Bloody hell. Just when you think he's done, just when you think Wilder's done, he goes and connects. And I don't know at this point whether I'd say, is that just complacency from Fury? He's won the fight twice and he's let Wilder back in the door twice. And, you know, Wilder's been put down in that round. And at the end of the round, Fury's allowed himself to get hit 2 or 3 times. And he's got to be careful. He's got to be really careful. I mean, look, let's give huge credit to Wilder. He's hanging on in there and he's still keeping going. But I think Fury needs to just, you know, put this to bed. Who wins that round? I still think it's probably Fury. But, you know, you're in the last chance saloon now, aren't you? This is massive energy, massive mental strength. And I tell you what, if Wilder comes through this, it's a war, says IMAC. If Wilder comes through this, second to last round. $11 of 12. 2-round fight now. Yeah, exactly. Fury just cannot go for the win here. He wants to obviously knock him out, but don't leave yourself open. If you're going for knockouts, you're always leaving yourself open. Fury just needs to defend this. Let Wilder throw I just let Wilder throw a punch and then just duck it and whack him. I mean, what do I know? But he doesn't need to go looking for it. Another one on the right. Poor Wilder, look at him. He's gone. He's in trouble here. He can barely hold his head up. He's like me after 80 minutes of Mourinho. Oh no, Wilder's throwing some back. Oh, here we go. He's wide open. 24/7. He's like a Tesco petrol station here. He's wide open. It's going to go. It's going to go. Timber! It's over. Wilder's gone. That's it. He can't get up from that. It's over. It's over. Sue! It's over. Fury wins it. What a fight. What a fight. What an absolute fight. And I tell you what, big shout out to Wilder. Fury wins it. Absolutely devastating. Absolutely fantastic fight. I've got to give massive credit to Wilder, but Fury has just shown why he is the best. Why he is the best fighter in the world. He's been put down twice. He's taken the hardest hits from Wilder. He's taken his time. He's kept going, he's kept going, he's kept going, and it's been a demolition over 10 rounds from Wilder. And Wilder should hold his hands up, and I hope Fury goes over there and embraces him, which I'm sure he will, because there'll be respect in this sport from a magnificent effort from that guy. And look, I tell you what, I think Wilder's won a lot of friends in that fight, because I thought he did a good job. I really did. I thought he showed mental strength. I thought he showed massive endurability, and to go 10 rounds against Fury when he got knocked down in the second, fantastic. But Fury has put to bed the Wilder Fury story. 3 fights, 2 wins, probably 3 wins really. But that's the best fight Wilder's put up. Fight of the year. We've just witnessed an absolute brilliant fight. And Wilder, as I said, he's shown such strength. A warrior performance from Wilder, but he came up short in virtually every area. What he had was that punch, and he'll always have that punch. But what he showed is an ability to just keep going and keep fighting. Because that fight was pretty much over after 3 rounds. And he took it to 10. And I think that shows magnificent strength and fortitude from Deontay Wilder. But look, Fury was the favourite for a reason. And he's won it for a reason. Because he is the best. And I love to see the amount of people in the chat saying, what a fight. Because it was absolutely brilliant. But you could see him teeing him up. Probably for about 6 rounds. But magnificent win. Magnificent win for Fury. And I'm just waiting to see Fury go and speak to Wilder. Because I want to see that. I want to see that respect. I want to see that professional appreciation from the pair of them. I think we've just witnessed a fantastic fight, by the way. Whether you've watched that live or you're going to watch it back later on. We've just a fantastic fight. Fantastic fight. It had absolutely everything. And you'd rather a fight like that goes for 10 rounds than 5 rounds because you get more of it. And I tell you what, Fury will come out of that and he'll know he's been in a fight. Imagine if they created a bare knuckle boxing style circuit that Fury's family can use to engage in, says Thomas Finton. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, bottom right hand corner. Our very first boxing watch along, and it was legendary. It's beat the Super Bowl. We enjoyed the Super Bowl, but this has been amazing. And Fury there. He's heading over now. He'll be exhausted. I think he's heading over to speak to Wilder now. They're having a bit of a chat, but I think they're exhausted. Although I think he just said to him, I think you lost fair and square that time. So maybe there's not a lot of respect between the two. But from in boxing terms, I think there will be. Bit of Oasis playing at the end. I want to hear from Fury. Well, maybe they don't like each other. I don't pay a lot of attention to the relationship. But I think he said I don't respect him as a man, but he had a good fight. Well, whatever Fury thinks, I respect Wilder. I watch boxing, as I'm sure many of you do. What was your thoughts on the fight? I want to read some out. NBA starts soon. Any chance for basketball watch along, says Thomas. I'm sure we could have a look at something. The trouble with basketball is you don't get one definitive match. It's all over a series, isn't it? The same chat Arteta will have with Ollie when we smash you at the Emirates, says Zane. He's on one tonight. But look, from my personal opinion, I don't know about yours, I came into this fight, I want Fury to win. I think Wilder made a lot of excuses in the last fight. I think tonight, you walk away from it. You won't be fighting Fury again. But you walk away in probably the best way you can lose. You walk away with massive respect. He fought that fight and lost that fight. You know, that was a very English football team performance. You lose the game, but you come away with an open bus tour because everyone appreciates you. And I think that's what happened with Wilder tonight. He lost to the better fighter, but he gave everything. And that's absolutely fine. That is absolutely fine. And I hope that Wilder comes away from that with that. Look, I think if they fought 10 times, Wilder might win 1 or maybe 2. I'd say 1. He will catch him on 1 fight. But you can't keep fighting Fury till you catch him with the 1 punch. Fury's proved he's the better fighter over 3 fights. I think he's won all 3, really. Officially 2. 1 was a draw. He deserves the win. He's the better fighter. And I think for boxing, it's better because we now move on to a new future where we won't have to see Fury versus Wilder again. And I look forward to Fury's next fight. You know, a different challenge. You know, we keep seeing him having to fight Wilder, which is a very distinct challenge, isn't it? This isn't. Right, we're going to hear from Fury now. This is what I love to hear. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. Who's your man of the match? Fury. Wilder's heading back to the dressing room. I think, you know, he's walking away. He's fisting the crowd. Not literally. He's going like that. And he will... They made each other very rich. I don't think it's about making each other rich, though. I mean, obviously you want to earn... Why shouldn't you earn a lot of money when you're at the top of your game? That to me wasn't about money. That was about being the best fighter in the world, the best heavyweight boxer in the world. And, you know, these fights take so long to prepare. That's just, you know, politically. They take a lot of time to prepare for physically. And I think Wilder could have gone down earlier. And he didn't. You know, he hung around in there because he was like, I want that puncher's chance. Here we go with Fury. Just how they stopped this fight, they should have did Fury the first fight. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Just ask the UK Boxing Committee. Says Zone 6. Don't know what you're on about. Fury said I was hit by some big shots. He's a strongman, Wilder. He's a tough fighter. And, you know. Great fight. Tell you what, Fury, he's brilliant, isn't he? He's basically said, I went over to show him some respect. I got none back. I've always said I'm the best fighter in the world and he's the second best. He's a good fighter and I beat a good fighter tonight. And I tell you what, that's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic from Fury to say that. That, you know, respect to Wilder. I didn't get any back, but I'm the best. Move on. Simple as that. Mark, if you do an NBA opening night game, please. It's just one game, says Philemon. And he's thinking up another 10 excuses in his head. He's done. Yes. Yeah. Well, what's next for Fury then? I don't know. Get in the chat. I don't know what's next for Fury. There's no point in it. There's no rematch now. There cannot be another rematch. There cannot be another rematch. 3 fights. It's 1-2. Usyk or Joshua, Mark. Yeah, but when's that fight? Because he's going to have to wait a long time. AJ versus Fury would be interesting, but I do agree with Fury. I think he's just fought the second best fighter in the world. I do. I think he's just fought the second best fighter in the world in Wilder. And I tell you what, I'd like to see what? I tell you what, I'd be more interested in seeing Wilder fight AJ or Usyk than Fury. I think Fury's the best now. I don't know who the second best is. And maybe Fury's right. Maybe Wilder is the second best and he's just beat him. And it's a clever statement to come out from Fury because it basically says, I've just beaten the second best fighter in the world and I've beaten him twice in a row. He's basically killing his competition before he even faces it because he's saying, Wilder's the best after me and I beat him twice. So I don't know what's next for Fury, but I'd probably be more interested in Wilder versus AJ. I think that'd be an interesting fight. He's singing now. He's just sang Blue Suede Shoes. He's that guy. But yeah, I'd like to see Wilder against AJ. I think that'd be interesting. If Wilder doesn't pack it in, I mean, realistically, if you're Wilder, yeah, you come out of the fight with respect, but you're not the winner. So what do you do? What a fight. Awesome fought. Fury was done in round 4. First 2 rounds to Wilder, then all Tyson, says Andy Hart. A fantastic fight. And that's the thing that pleases me the most, is that I knew it would be a great event, even if it was a first round knockout or a boring 12-round fight. But we had a great fight. Both fighters put down. Every second of every round, you were thinking this could change in a second, and it did many times. To get 10 rounds of a fight at that level, at that weight, was incredible. And Tyson Fury, in no way am I understating this, proves he's the best fighter in the world, in the heavyweight division, and possibly in the world. But look, in the heavyweight division, he's the best, unparalleled, and he should be very proud of that. And the story goes on. What's next for Fury? I don't know. What's next for Wilder? We don't know. I'm not feeling this AJ Fury fight. I think Fury's too good for that. But the great thing is AJ's got to go and beat the lad who beat him a couple of weeks ago first to even get in with a shout. If he doesn't win that, Fury shouldn't be going anywhere near AJ. But maybe he'll do it for the pay packet. But you basically, be like Man City giving Arsenal a game when really they should be playing Liverpool or Chelsea. I want to see Fury challenged. I think we saw him challenged tonight, and I think that that's what we want to see. So keep an eye on it. But he's just having a chat with Frank Warren now, Fury. Did you enjoy it, Tyson? I was made for this shit. I tell you what though, the thing about Fury is you get nervous when he's been put down on his arse, and he was put down twice, but you always know he's going to get up. My worry was when he put him twice down, would he put him down 3 times? And that was where you're in trouble, because the referee can come in. He's just asking him about when he got put down. Was he hurt? Tyson sent the big dosser into retirement, says Ricardo. I hope Wilder doesn't retire. I'd like to see him fight AJ. I think that'd be a good fight. I don't know whether AJ would fancy it really, but ultimately everyone wants to fight Fury because that's the big fight, isn't it? He just called him an idiot. I think Fury's disappointed in Wilder. He's beat him, and he's saying that he's not showed any respect. Yeah, look, I listened to Fury there, and he's saying, look, I'm thankful that both fighters go home to their lovely families. I'll pray for him. And the fact that Wilder's not shown him any respect is poor. You know, some people just can't deal with it, can they? And I'm sure he'll come out with some excuses, but you know, Fury could be the bigger arsehole here. He could be like, I beat you 3 times, I ain't showing you any respect. But, you know, Fury's right. There should be respect and guts in boxing. And Fury certainly comes out of that the winner in more ways than one. It's a shame from Wilder because I think he could have come out of it, if he'd shown a bit of respect. He comes out of it with a lot of the plaudits anyway. But it is what it is. Do you fancy a fight between Mayweather and Fury? Why would that happen, Juan? I don't know what's next for Fury. I don't know. He's a bad loser though, Deontay. It's a shame because his record's very good. You know, over 40 wins, 2 losses to Fury, who's better than him. But yeah, let's see what happens next. I don't know what's next for Fury. I don't think there's a fight that Fury should be worried about. I don't think there's many people that can knock Fury down. He's 33. He's got 5 years left at the top if he wants it. He's got 7 years potentially. Number one. And he just said there, I've just fought the most devastating puncher in the history of our sport. And I beat him. And he's right. The punch that he's got is ridiculous. Ridiculous. But Fury said his next fight is Dillian Whyte. I'm waiting for them to ask. So he's just asked Frank Warren. Too soon to talk about what's next. Frank Warren saying just enjoy it. Enjoy the moment. We'll see where we go from here. And he just said one of the best fights I've ever seen. And I tell you what, it's not often that you watch a boxing match and you go, I can't wait to watch that again tomorrow. It was a very rewatchable fight. And you don't always see that. Fury says, great fight. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting point. How good was it? How good was it? Fantastic fight. What a fight. What a night. What a fight. We've been live since 3 o'clock in the morning. We've been basically live for 3 hours. It's been a fantastic evening. I'm glad I spent it with you. Really, really enjoyed it. What a success it's been as a stream. I think people must have enjoyed it. All I can say is a massive thank you to you. I've done 3-hour football streams and I've felt it. I've started yawning. It's 3 o'clock in the morning and at no point have I felt tired or, you know, the fight didn't start till 5 a.m. We had 2 hours of chat before. We've had a magnificent fight. I'm just so glad that I did it. And a lot of people said, will you do it? Because I've just thoroughly enjoyed it. I can't thank you lot enough because you've just made it just go so good. It's hard. It's hard to sit and talk for 3 hours, but it was not hard at all. You made it what it was. So big shout out. I don't think you ever appreciate the part you play in these live streams, whether it's football, boxing, FIFA, whatever I do or we do. You are a massive part of what I feed off. So I just want to say massive shout out to Fury and Wilder. What a fight. But massive shout out for you lot for the event we've had tonight. I've really enjoyed it and long may it continue. I think we'll do more in the future. I look forward to AJ's next fight. I look forward to Fury's next fight and let's see what happens next. But we've just witnessed a fantastic fight that we'll remember it for a long time as well. I think certainly it was always going to be the fight of the year. I think we'll remember that fight for a long time. We will. Fantastic. Deontay came out firing. How can he have excuses? He rocked Fury, says Andy Hart. And I disagree, Mark. Who has Wilder fought? Yeah, he is a right hand, but he ain't a boxer. The guy to beat Fury doesn't exist. The modern day Joe Fraser is the one to beat Fury. It makes any sense, says James Gallagher. Look, this is what I mean about Fury. The only thing that can stop him is himself, you know, complacency. But he was fantastic tonight. Look, thanks everyone for watching. I'm back on the United stand at 11, so I'm going to go and get a bit of sleep. But I will speak to you all in a bit. Really, really loved it, and I'll speak to you soon.